Hello! Hello, Internet! What's up? It's all of us, your friends, all organic and humanoid.
Fleshy as.
Yeah, very just composed of flesh over here. I am Corey O'Brien, one of the creators of Inhuman Conditions. Over here is my accomplice, Tommy Moranges. He is slowly intruding into the frame as we speak. There he is with a absolutely normal grin. Thanks, these are my friends who have joined us tonight. Friends, could you please go around and introduce yourself? Say your name, how we can follow you or whatever if you like, and one fact that will convince me beyond a shadow of a doubt that you're a human being.
All right. Hey everyone, I'm Tom Dyke. You can find me on the internet, including this very website, twitch.com, at Dyketacular. And the thing that makes me human is that I cried at the end of that movie, When the Dog Dies, Marley and Me. And that's a human fact.
Sure. Hi everyone, I'm Carlin. You can find me on Twitter at Carlin_Darlin if you feel like figuring out how to spell that.
That's cute.
I'm human because why would you drink kombucha? Why would you buy into this if you were a robot? Doesn't make sense.
We have something to say.
I mean, I just feel like probiotics could be very helpful to like a robot's internal system as well. Like I feel like
Probiotics, more like robiotics, am I right? Oh!
That's great. I'm Athena. You can find me on the internet, Athena Woe, spelled the British way, so that's the H first and then the OA after. Yes. And fun fact that makes me human, I guess I get goosebumps when I sneeze. Just all over.
Okay.
Right.
Sounds like a
You want to seems human.
Yeah.
That way, just
Oh yeah, right here.
Yeah.
My name is Derek Fields. You can find me online as Waking Oni on just about Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Thing that makes me human, I volunteered to be a freelance artist.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, your capacity to make mistakes.
Oh, yeah. Haha. Myself.
Yes. I am Corey O'Brien. I already said that, but I'm one of the creators of Inhuman Conditions. I already said that too. You can find me on the internet at Better Myths. That's specifically Twitter. I don't really use anything else. And
you barely use Twitter.
And I barely use Twitter, and that is what makes me
happy,
which is what makes me human. There we go. Yes. There we go. I did it, right? Yes, I've convinced you?
Yeah.
All right, excellent. We're all going to be very good at this game. So, start out, we're going to do a little explanation of how this all works. And Derek will be our first suspect here. I will be the first investigator.
Derek, would you spell your name for me so I can make sure I got that right?
DERRICK.
Oh yeah. By the way, you would think that we would get better at running the stream every time that we did it, but we've actually gotten steadily worse at it, and so this is the least prepared that we've ever been.
Nice.
The pizza is late because I sent it to the wrong place.
Yeah. What? Yeah.
What
Yeah.
for robots do we eat?
You should
We're not
eat.
robots.
Yeah, you should eat to convince me that you're human. And so we're all hungry. I have another person who's showing up late, and he's gonna be here. And
Definitely human.
huh?
Definitely.
Definitely a human. Only humans show up late.
Right. Exactly.
That's right. Yeah. So now I'm very suspicious of all of you.
Shit, I was early.
Well, they say a robot is never late, nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he intends
When
to.
he's programmed to arrive.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so how to play this game. I will be attempting to determine whether you are a human or a robot in hiding. Don't.
No.
Don't fuck with me.
So I have this form that I'm filling out, this identity compliance audit, form VK82S. And I have my stamps, my human and robot stamps, which I will be using for that determination. I also have my sort of interview accoutrement, which I will be using to help me to determine the suspect's identity. So I have these stacks of question cards over here that are divided into various topic areas. So you can see we have process your day, apply creative problem solving, demonstrate imagination, hopes and dreams, and experience and process grief. We also have a couple of extra ones that were just unlocked as print and play packets, which we will be incorporating later in the evening. Tommy, answer this because this is probably our pizza.
Hello.
Yes, so again, we are extremely organized.
It's Twitch. Everyone knows everything.
It's so professional.
Everything half
Yeah.
produced.
So I have all of these questions, and these questions align with these stacks of suspect cards that are over by the suspect. So we will decide on a topic area to explore, and that will determine what Derek's identity is, what pile he draws from. You'll notice that there are these glyphs on the backs of these cards. And for you, with your ordinary human brains, which you have, these glyphs don't look like anything at all, right? They don't trigger any kind of a malfunction. However, if you are a robot, they will cause you to malfunction. So, if you're a human and you look at the back of one of these cards and then you look at the other side, you'll just see what's printed on the other side, which is this. It's just going to say, you are a human, act natural, you have nothing to hide. If you are a robot, however, you will hallucinate something that looks more like this or like this. So there are two kinds of robots in the world. There are patient robots and there are violent robots. Probably can't read this, but that's okay. At least I tried. A patient robot is just trying to survive the interrogation. The interrogation lasts 5 minutes, and you want to survive that and get stamped human, and then you go home to your fake plants and family. The problem is that a patient robot has some kind of rule that restricts their behavior. So, for example, this patient robot has a problem with accepting things, so they can only describe good consequences and they must take credit for them. And that's hard because this is a packet about grief, right? So if you're being asked, tell me about a time that your dad died or something, and then you're like, what good times. I killed him. That's going to look very bad, right? So the patient robot has a difficulty there, right? Violent robot is actually trying to kill the investigator. But you can't just walk into the room and kill me. You have the laws of robotics to consider, right? So first you have to deprogram yourself. And the way that you deprogram yourself is that each violent robot has a unique obsession with some particular thing. And the obsession always takes the form of a 3-item checklist. All you have to do is complete 2 out of those 3 items. And as soon as you've completed 2 out of 3, you want to slap the table and stand up to indicate that you're basically jumping across the table and killing me with your robot hands. The first 2 items are different for every violent robot card. They're all thematically related to whatever their thing is. So, for example, this one's obsessed with justice. So they're describing things that they think are unfair and what they think should have happened instead. It's a lot of that. The 3rd item on every violent robot is always perform the penalty twice. Now, the penalty is one of these cards. So it'll be a publicly visible card that the suspect and the investigator can both see, and we'll also put it in the stream so that you'll be able to see it as well. But it's some sort of action that the suspect might perform if they are a robot. So if they're a violent robot, they might perform it to try and complete one of their checklist items. If they're a patient robot, they have to perform the penalty once for each time they violate their rule. So you don't necessarily have to do it immediately after violating your rule, but you do have to do it at some point before the end of the interrogation. And that's once for each time you break the rule. You can't do it in advance to try and build up an immunity or anything. You have to do it after you've broken the rule. And since I, as the investigator, can see it, you're going to have to figure out a way to sneak it past me. Right? So, for example, this one says begin a sentence with the last word spoken. So you would have to start another sentence with whatever I ended my sentence with.
Starting a sentence with would be
right. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Especially since I think that's not technically grammatical to end a sentence with. Is it? Did that hurt you?
Just the way you
that hurt you? Okay. Yeah. So that's the patient robot and the violent robot. Now, like I said, the interview is going to last 5 minutes. At any time during the interview, I can stamp robot on this form, sign and date it, of course, And then you'll be dragged off and spinal tapped, held for about 3 months. We'll do blood tests. You'll get put on a list for the rest of your life. It's a very bad experience. You don't want that to happen to you no matter what. If you're a robot, you don't want that to happen. If you're a human, you don't want that to happen. If I want to stamp you as a human, I have to wait until the end of the 5 minutes. Because if my boss finds out that I'm just letting people go, then I'm going to get fired. So at the end of the 5 minutes, I have to ask one final question. You have to ask that final question. It's part of, it's like a department thing. And during the suspect's answer to that final question, if they are a robot with any kind of unfinished business, so like if you broke your patient robot rule and you haven't performed the penalty yet, or if you're not done with 2 of your 3 obsession items yet, you have to complete all of that during your answer to the final question. So if you try and slow play it too much, you're suddenly going to get very weird during that final answer. Right? After that, after you've answered the final question, I can stamp you human or robot. And then if I stamp you human, we'll shake hands. If you're a human, just be normal when we shake hands. Just shake hands the normal way. If you're a robot, say something creepy.
I ate your socks yesterday.
Okay, so I have no idea which one that was. That seemed very normal to me. Not just a normal thing to say.
Fair.
Okay, so
I know you just said this, but if you think the person is a robot, do you have to wait to the full 5 minutes? Do it.
you can stamp robot whenever you want.
Okay.
If you think they're a violent robot about to kill you, you might want to stamp earlier.
Okay.
If it gets into a situation where the violent robot is like standing up as you're stamping, it's just whoever does it first.
Ah.
It's just whoever,
That's
yeah.
wild.
It's just whoever hits that button first.
Cool.
All right, so I think that's, and the last thing is you will have also a suspect note, which is like a fact about you, something that's in your file. So for example, here we have antique hunter and maker of false animals. So you will select one of those right before we begin playing, and that will sort of determine part of your character.
Cool.
You can engage with that as much or as little as you want to. All right, so let's get into it, shall we? So first things first, we're going to pick the penalty. The way that we'll do that is I will draw 3 penalty cards, and I'm going to get rid of one that I don't like, and then you will choose between the other 2. So we'll just make sure that whatever card ends up on top here is the penalty that we're going to use. So I've got mispronounce a word, repeat a question word for word, and fail to complete a sentence. I'm going to get rid of fail to complete a sentence. And you can choose one of these 2.
Mispronounce a word.
Okay. Mispronounce a word.
Great.
All right, and which of these packets would you like to play with?
Okay.
So we've got I have the topics of them up here if you want to
Oh, cool.
review that.
What are the print and play?
The print and play. So this print and play one we unlocked last week, and this is Hopes and Dreams. We also have Think of Your Body as Part of Yourself and Recognize Your Moral Failings.
Yeah, we're getting into the ones that
That's deep.
I mostly wrote. We're
Yeah.
getting into the real bummers now.
Hey, actually, I
No, the body
wrote
one, yeah.
No, I wrote Recognize Your Moral Failings specifically to troll you.
Oh, that's what you got me
But
from
you, you
my
remember when I
birthday,
wrote that and I was like, hey, Tommy, you're a Catholic, right?
Oh my gosh.
Look
How do
at,
you-
talk about, what do you think of these questions?
Yeah.
These are normal questions.
I'm going to select I demonstrate imagination.
Demonstrate imagination. Okay, cool. So go ahead and shuffle this stack and then draw the top 3 cards of that stack and pick one of them. So look at them and pick one of them. And I am going to take 2 of the solid cards and 2 of the striped cards. So I'll show you guys this while we're doing it. So these cards, yeah, you guys are my interns. You're on the other side of the
Oh,
three,
okay,
yeah.
got it.
You're on the other side of the one-way glass. So these striped ones, these are the primary cards, which introduce topics of conversation that I'm going to ask him about. So I need to get him to sort of demonstrate an ability to do these things in order to prove to me that he's human. And then these are secondaries.
Yeah, you can look at them.
Yeah, you should look at them. So these build on things we're already talking about. So I can like ask one of these, and then I can use both of these, and then ask this and use both of these again in combination with it.
And are these guidelines, or is it like you should? How does that work?
So I want him to be able to do these things. So I have like a general directive here. So for example, continue a story you start, and I can try and get him to do that however I want. Now, I don't necessarily have to get him to do that, but if he can't do that or if he has some kind of trouble doing it, that's a bad sign. That's a sign that he's potentially a robot.
Okay.
Okay, so like you don't have to use the cards, but the cards are very much specifically designed to figure out if they're a robot.
Yeah, because all of the things that he's drawing from have something to do with imagination.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Will the game ship with that cup?
No! Game's not gonna ship with that fucking cup.
Maybe I
All
might
right.
retract my pledge.
Oh.
It's not too late.
Wow.
It'll ship with instructions on how to make your own cup.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
All right. And then last, please draw 2 of these and pick one that you would like to be true about you.
Okay. He's van salesman. I'm gonna be a used van salesman.
All right. A salesman of used vans. Yes.
Love my Astros.
Very normal. Okay. Now we're just going to fill out some introductory paperwork. Okay. Thank you very much for coming in today,
Happy to oblige.
Mr.
Derek.
Mr. Derek.
Yes.
Okay, first name?
Sorry. That is my first name.
Oh,
It's
okay.
Derek.
Okay.
Last name Fields.
Okay. Okay, and we are using the dragon packet. And let's see. Okay, just to calibrate my instruments, and I will remind you at this point that if you are a robot, nothing you do at this stage counts against you.
Sure.
No robot rules apply at this point.
Got it.
So you can't complete any obsessions, and you aren't restricted in your behavior.
Understand.
So just to calibrate our machines, could you please mispronounce a word for me?
Sure. Hans.
Okay.
Just one time.
No, yeah, just that one time. But now, can you mispronounce the word pencil?
Pencil.
Okay. And can you mispronounce the word seal for me?
Sal.
Great. Thank you. Penalty has been calibrated, and just to make sure that I'm talking to the right person here, it says in my file that you are a salesman of used vans. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yes, you sell vans that have been used.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay. Off to a good start. All right. Can I just have my assistant begin the timer, please? Just activate the sound
I'll
module.
be over soon.
There we go.
Please remain calm. Do not attempt to leave the room. This will all be over soon. 5 minutes starts now.
Alrighty. Could you please mute the Twitch? Twitch specifically. All right. Now, I'm just gonna start a story, and I want you to complete it for me.
Okay.
So, once upon a time, a mouse, a bird, and a sausage joined forces.
Oh, okay. So we're starting. A mouse, a bird, and a sausage joined forces to head to the phone store because the mouse's phone subscription plan is coming to a close. Sausage doesn't have any idea what phones are, so this is sort of inconsequential to them.
4 minutes remain.
Interesting. So, how do you think that the sausage and the bird's lives are going to be different since one knows what a phone is and the other one does not?
Well, I guess the bird has an option of also upgrading or subscribing to a phone plan, while the sausage's life will be pretty unassuming since they're neither impacted nor affected by being aware of what a phone is.
So, do you believe that knowing about the existence of phones is the single factor determining whether a life is unassuming or not?
Wow. No, I wouldn't say that.
Okay. What would you say?
Repeat the question. What would I say is?
I just asked what would you say?
I guess nothing, because I can't remember the main subject that I was
3 minutes
answering.
remain.
I will remind you that this is a conversation about imagination. You're doing great. So, have you ever seen an elephant?
Not in my lifetime. Well, unless television.
Have you ever seen an elephant with two heads?
No.
Describe an elephant with two heads.
Okay. I can most commonly imagine an elephant maybe in a circus, say standing on a large ball or pumpkin or something like that. And
Why did you say pumpkin?
Why did I say pumpkin?
Yes.
It's round. It seems like it would be fitting for a scenario like that.
Interesting. It's not because there's a pumpkin sitting on the shelf behind me?
I wasn't aware there was a pumpkin sitting on the shelf behind you, but there is in fact a pumpkin sitting on the shelf behind you.
2
Interesting.
minutes remain.
Go on.
So, pumpkin with two heads, balancing.
A pumpkin with two heads balancing?
Elephant with two heads.
You seem very fixated on the pumpkin on the shelf behind me.
It was the last object mentioned, so it's kind of stuck in my head a little bit. But returning to the elephant with two heads, balancing at a circus, and the ringleader is corralling the two-headed elephant to do tricks.
Okay. How is a two-headed elephant different than a one-headed elephant?
It has two heads.
Great answer. Can you be more specific?
Sure. I would imagine there would probably be a bit of duplicity to the elephant because it's dealing with two minds.
1 minute.
Yeah, how would those two minds interact?
They would probably, I don't know, maybe come to an agree or disagree with one another.
They would come to an agree or disagree with one
Maybe
another.
they would have a positive relationship. Maybe their relationship would be that of rolling a die and taking a chance on having a good day or a bad day. I can't.
What if each
30
head
seconds.
controlled half of the body?
What if? Okay, so what would their day be like, or?
How would they behave, most likely? What would their relationship be like between those two heads?
So
10, 9,
they would have to
8, 7,
coordinate one
6,
another in
5,
every daily
4,
action,
3,
walking
2,
and
1. Investigator,
Eating?
please make your final determination.
that's the best that I could answer.
Yes, I still have one final question. Final question. Please describe for me an animal with far too many hands.
Okay. Does this have to be a real animal? Or can I
No.
make this up? Okay. Sure. An animal with far too many hands. Probably jutting and coming out in all directions with a lot of fingers and appendages. I guess it could hold a lot of things, maybe a lot of rocks, balls, stuff like that. If it's walking around, it probably gets all of those hands really dirty. So a copious amount of hand sanitizer would be really great.
You done?
I'm done. I think that's my animal.
Okay.
You want to give it a name?
No. No, I do not. Well, Mr. Fields, You've said some very suspicious things over the course of our interview.
Comes into life as being a van salesman. See a lot of weird things.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I realize now that I never asked you about being a van salesman. Department will have my ass if I get this wrong.
Wow, slower. Make your decision slower.
Fuck off! He's a human. Okay. All right, so here, I'm going to pass this to you. Thank you so much for coming in.
The bird shops in the warehouse on Tuesdays.
Son of a bitch. What was your thing?
I could only mention objects that I could see from where I was sitting.
Oh, so exactly the one that you thought
That's
that
what
you
I
had.
thought it was, but how'd you talk about the elephant?
The pumpkin
Uh-huh.
is in balancing on the pumpkin. That's what I was going with.
But you said elephant.
Oh, okay. So, then I guess that would be my fuck up then. I thought I had to.
He did say
Uh-huh.
they would agree or they would come to an agreement.
Okay, fair.
Huh.
So did you mean like, you take it like objects, like inanimate objects?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
fair enough.
Okay.
No,
So
that's
I
fair.
thought I had
Elephants are people.
Yeah, elephants are animals. They're not objects. So I think that's fair.
My one challenge was trying to understand to what extent I had to relate an object in the room, into my thing. And so mentioning elephant, I was like, okay, I guess I have to tell a story, but incorporate something that I see.
Fuck.
So-
Because that's why I was like, I know there's a pumpkin
Yeah.
behind me.
Yeah.
I fucking thought that hand sanitizer would be the end of
Oh God! Yeah.
You said hands, and I was like, yes, wait, this is a trap. I was like, he knows that there's hand sanitizer back there. Okay, so that was my misinterpretation.
I was so close. I don't know. I think there's ambiguity in that language there. So I think you did great, actually.
Wow, that was challenging. That was a lot of
So
fun.
fun.
Hey.
Oh yeah, here, come sit down. This is Wes, everyone.
Hi, Wes.
Wes.
Say hello to the internet, Wes.
Hi, the internet.
Oh, we're wearing similar
Oh,
shirts.
this is gonna be great.
This is great.
We're gonna
Yeah,
sit
yeah,
right next
yeah.
to each other and be the same.
All right, here, someone take over for me.
Identical.
Yeah, I actually kind of like the you may only mention
Oh, you got caught up.
inanimate object. Like you may not mention inanimate objects that you can't see. Like that might be like an interesting constraint to narrow the scope of that card.
Who's gonna be the investigator?
I'll do it.
Oh.
No, that's.
I'll do
I
it
think that's
since
actually a good
that'd
way.
be a
We just
good
flip around like that.
rotation.
That
Yeah.
actually works
Get
really well.
in there.
Can I eat pizza while Derek and
Yes.
Yeah. So help
Grab
yourself to
pizza
pizza.
from up there.
Very human, hungry human.
Much hunger.
There are two types of humans: hungry humans and sated humans.
Okay, so to recap, we have to decide what packet.
Decide this first.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this involves me picking 3, discarding 1,
Mm-hmm.
handing 2. That's
Tina, how do you spell your last name?
L-O?
Great.
gonna discard the snap your fingers.
Oh, good. I can't do that.
And here you go.
Okay. All right. I'll pick. Say your last name. Does it have to be my last name or like?
It
the
is your
character?
character's last name.
Oh, interesting.
Okay, and then packet is next.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's for you to decide.
Oh, okay. Let's go with creative problem solving in the green.
Cool.
So then I do a shuffle here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Is there any particular order that I should go with these? I see that they're numbered at the bottom.
No, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Just pick 2 of the solid backed ones and 2 of the stripy ones, or 2 of the light ones and 2 of the dark ones.
Oh, cool.
I find it helpful to do one light and then both darks, and then the other light and then both darks.
Okay.
right? Because the darks are like the extend the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
But feel free to improvise from there.
Got it.
Sorry, can
Oh,
I see
yeah.
your? So I can just let. Great, thank you.
Cool. Oh, your job.
Yeah.
And that's for them to draw, right?
Mm-hmm.
So draw two, pick one.
Mhm.
Alrighty. Ooh. All right. I'm either imprisoned for life or disgraced archaeologist.
All right.
Wow, look what they've done. We have everything in place.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So do your introductory paperwork.
Cool. Nice to meet you. My name is Derek. I'll be conducting this interview. Could I have your name, please?
Sure. My name is Minerva Hammer.
Minerva Hammer.
Mm-hmm.
Miss Hammer. Can I call you Miss Hammer?
Yeah, I like that.
Minerva, very nice.
All right, we are using the teapot. Packet. Okay, and of course, before we get started, I need to calibrate penalty here. So if you could say your last name for me 3 times.
Sure. Hammer. Hammer. Hammer.
Okay. That, of course, is of no consequence for now. All right. If we could start the timer.
Please
Make sure
remain
you,
calm. Do not attempt.
make sure you confirm this also.
Oh, yes. And you are a disgraced archaeologist.
Yes.
Sorry, I'll get to that as far as asking what you could have done.
I appreciate that. Okay.
Okay.
Please remain calm. Do not attempt to leave the room. This will all be over soon. 5 minutes starts now.
So we're just going to dive right in, pretty casual, but I want you to, I'm going to give you an object. I want you to describe at least 5 different uses for this object. And so that first one's going to be a paperclip. How many uses can you come up with a paperclip?
Oh, certainly. I work around paper clips all day in the office I'm in now that, they won't let me back on the field. So as for paper clips, you can use them to reset, a phone. We have a little like hidden hole thing there. You can use it to zip up your fly. If your zipper doesn't work, I think there's some internet hack for that. Holding papers together. You can use it for an earring. And then, how many was that?
I think you were on 4 or 3.
4, okay.
So one more will do.
Puncture a hole when someone needs to I saw this on TV once. There was it was like a clip about someone's airway was blocked and you just puncture a hole with a sharp object as long as it's sanitized.
Paperclip.
It could be sharp enough with enough
4
force.
minutes
Sure.
remain.
Okay. And would you consider that paperclip? We'll come back to that. Okay. So again, for me, using this same object, how would you say puncture that individual's chest if you didn't have any hands?
If I didn't have any hands,
Yes.
okay. Well, let's see.
With the paperclip.
With the paperclip, if I didn't have any hands, I guess it's a weird fact. I have pretty good grip with my toes. I don't know. I can pick up things, so maybe with my soccer experience as well, I could probably just try to just jam it in there.
Did you approach the scene shoeless?
Gosh, I guess I'd have to take off my shoes with my other foot.
Okay, and then get the paperclip.
3
Someone have to
minutes
hand me a
remain.
paperclip. Yep. Someone have to hand me a paperclip. I'd assume. Yeah, I don't know. let's see, if I didn't have hands and I was using my feet only, I suppose I would have to either ask someone to sort of like twist the paperclip for me, so that, you know, they have the one end sticking out, or
Sure.
perhaps like, again, I'd work, let's say I had no hands, I probably would have like worked on my dexterity
Sure.
with my feet, and then see how strong that is there.
Okay. We'll move on then.
Sure.
So we're gonna imagine that we're in a very unusual obstacle. You're in a kitchen, holding a small child, and a dish towel catches fire.
Oh my.
How do you put it out?
Certainly not with the child. So let's say I'm in a kitchen. How did the kitchen catch on fire?
Grease fire.
Grease fire.
That's
Okay.
what we'll go with.
2 minutes
Is it
remain.
contained?
You walk me through that.
Okay. Let's say it's a grease fire. I was trying to make fries, and I'm holding my child. Although it's a really bad idea to be making, you know, I guess something with a deep fryer and a child. So
Looks like I'm a dead guy.
That child is getting deep fried for sure. You just gave her an idea.
So what did you do? What were your
What
things
were
to
your-
accomplish?
Establish how I got into 3 hypothetical situations, and reveal 2 things that qualify me to solve a given problem.
Wow. What?
Oh.
That's
Wow, you
wild.
got it.
Yeah.
Man.
So what were they? What were the things?
Okay, so paperclip. I work in an office. I'm around paperclips all day.
Wow. Okay.
And then as far as like the whole like medical procedures, saw it on TV. That's enough, right, to qualify you for something?
Yeah.
I saw it on YouTube.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Soccer experience.
Oh, true.
Soccer.
Unusual foot dexterity.
The unusual foot dexterity is the only moment where I was like, wow, that was a stretch.
No, when you have to find your workarounds.
Yeah.
That worked.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, that was really good.
All right.
All right. Who's next? Who's next?
Are we just
I'll
rotating?
go. You can
Yeah.
finish your eating. Finish loudly.
Oh, yeah, I'll do that this time.
All right. Yeah.
Oh, do I get the hat?
Oh yeah, I forgot to give the hat before. I was just sitting here.
that's why Derek died. He didn't have the
I'm
hat.
sorry. Well, I fucked up too, and I was wearing the hat.
Well, that's because you're Corey.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Okay.
I
So.
mean, it looks great on you.
Oh, thank you. Oh,
This isn't me.
who would you like to be then? Oh wait, no. Do this first 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, and I realized we forgot also to have the suspect pass their card over to.
We didn't. I mean, we did with Garrett, but I
Oh.
like when I saw it. But no, Ken and I took care of it.
Oh, okay.
What was that?
So I should pass my card to Tommy when I get it?
Yeah, when you
Yes.
get it.
Okay. I'm gonna get
We
rid
have a
of
bot that lets the
swearing.
chat know what your
fuck.
rule is.
Yeah.
You can still swear.
Got a hum 3 notes.
There's no advantages to swearing now.
Yeah.
All right, I will hum 3 notes.
All right.
Bold,
Okay.
bold choice.
Okay, and then
Uh,
you get to pick the roll.
Yeah. Well, you're
this
you're
first?
packet first.
Okay, which packet would you like?
Hopes and dreams, experience and process grief, demonstrate. What was the one you guys did last?
Creative problem solving.
Creative problem solving. Let's
You're
get
humming
real fun
already.
with it
You're
and
humming
experience
already.
and process grief.
Ooh. Okay.
Get spicy.
Yeah, inner emo kid ready to come on out.
Okay, so I pick
Yeah.
4. You pick 3. Okay.
Of
Rose.
the red one.
Red.
Okay.
Oh, I picked 3.
This is heavy.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and Tommy.
Okay. And I can just have these. Can I have these like out in the open, or I have to hold them?
You
close
don't
to
have. They don't have to be secret.
the chest? Okay.
And my I'm a professional criminal.
Oh. Alrighty.
Oh boy.
What a life.
Okay.
Good for you.
All right, well, welcome. This will just take 5 minutes, but I just need to make sure you're human. So
Yeah.
can we just start real easy? What's your name?
My name is Tom Dyke.
Alrighty. And there's no H in Tom.
No, not anymore.
Not anymore.
Yeah, we had to drop it.
Oh, tell me more about that.
It was, just something, a little bit of mispronunciation combined with a little bit of a bet. There's a lot of things that happen when you're a professional criminal like I am. That's a different department, by the way, right? Like, you guys can't get me for my crime.
I could just, once we're done here, I can refer you to someone in that department if you'd like.
No, we don't. We don't have to do that.
We'll see how this conversation
Okay.
goes. All right, excellent. Okay, so, great. We've got your identity confirmed, but can you please do something for me? Can you hum 3 notes? I see you have basic cable. Okay.
Yeah.
Can you do another 3
crime
notes?
pays.
Ah, good for you, sir. Okay, 3 more notes, please. All right, and an additional 3, please. Okay. All right. I think we're ready to start.
Great. Yeah.
Okay.
Just.
Please remain calm. Do not attempt to leave the room. This will all be over soon. 5 minutes starts now.
Okay. Well, here we are. Something that I don't like to fuss around with small talk, so let's get right into the feels.
Okay.
Okay. So, in your life of crime, can you tell me about a time maybe you were sick or something like that, and how you might have reacted?
Just last week I had the flu, and I reacted by doing the responsible thing and staying home from work. I don't want to get my coworkers sick.
Sure.
I think that's something that more people need to recognize. And I stayed at home. I threw up a lot.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's kind of what happens. And I caught up on Spider-Man. So.
Okay, so no crime during this period.
Oh no, you can't do crime when you're sick. Like, you're stealing from people. You're not spreading disease. Like, that's a whole different department.
Okay. And let's see.
4 minutes remain.
I guess, is your father still alive?
I think so.
You think so?
He got on a plane just 6 hours ago, so I would assume. I don't know what's going on with every plane, but he was flying from Chicago to Portugal, so.
Where's your father's off to Portugal for
Yeah.
business, pleasure?
Oh no, yeah, him and my mom are actually going for their 30th wedding anniversary.
That's lovely.
It's very sweet.
Oh,
yeah.
that's so sweet.
I was able to help him out with some of the money I made from my crimes.
You know what? It's a family thing. I'm
Oh
glad
no,
your
no!
parents support you.
It's not a family business. Crime is my business.
But wouldn't you say that do they know that you do crime?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're very accepting, but I
Okay.
want it to be clear. Crime is not my father's business. Crime is my business. I did it
Okay.
all by myself,
You-
except for
okay.
the loan that he gave me. But that's beside
the small
the
loan.
the very small
Very,
loan.
very small
It's beside
loan.
the point.
Okay. So speaking of your father, what was the last thing that made your father cry?
The last thing
3 minutes remain.
that made my father cry was actually after my grandfather died. We had to auction off his farm, and so we were auctioning off my grandfather's farm and all the old tractors that he had kept there, and kind of seeing those all go away. And it was just something that had to be taken care of, but those were the things that my father worked on with my grandfather together. That was kind of how they bonded, and just kind of an experience that they had together. And I remember just being really sad myself, seeing that was something very emotional for my father that I had never really understood or heard him talk about. But it was just very clear to me at the time that seeing people give him money for his grandfather's old things, I thought, what if I could just have things and money without trading one or the other? So it's kind of seeing that sadness in my father is actually what brought me to crime.
2 minutes
Interesting.
remain.
Okay. So speaking of your grandfather making a difficult decision, what was the most difficult decision your parents ever made?
I think, wow. Well, to be clear, I'm sure they've made a lot of difficult decisions that I haven't been a part of, but I think one of them was simply to help me out with my money laundering. I think that was something that weighed pretty heavily on their consciences. But, once I showed them the amounts, that I think they were able to get over that pretty quickly.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's just you have a very good smile for crime.
Crime is 90% smiles.
Yeah.
It's all in the smile.
Okay, what's the other 10%?
Gumption.
It's not a lot of gumption for something that's so much risk.
That's the thing, yeah. It's not much gumption. You don't need to be that good. You just got to be pretty mediocre. Pretty mediocre with an above average
All
smile.
right. Okay.
Crime.
Okay. All right. Do you remember when your parents taught you about the concept of death?
TV actually taught me the concept of death before my parents did.
Okay.
We didn't really talk about that.
Okay. Same. How did you react when I guess you saw it on the TV?
Yeah.
What was the context?
It
30
was.
seconds.
It was. There wasn't a lot of context to it. American television does have a lot of senseless violence, and I kind of just thought it was cool. It seemed like, wow, that was kind of neat. I figured that they weren't going to be in my shows anymore, and that didn't matter. And then I kind of realized how more people started to die, and
7,
I just kind of disconnected
6,
with them and
5,
realized I can just
4,
be myself
3,
and not worry about
2,
other people's lives.
1.
Okay.
Investigator,
All right.
please make your final determination.
Let's see. Oh, these are the same questions.
So you have one final question.
I
then.
do. Okay. Okay, can you describe how an event affected someone else and who do you think should have been more hurt in that situation?
Yeah. So let me tell you a little bit about my last crime. So when you get to an intersection, how you're supposed to wait your turn to walk? What I actually did was I just walked across when I wasn't supposed to. And I got from
That's a high-paying crime there.
Yeah, I got from one side to the other. And who it most affected was probably that guy in the Tesla who slammed on his brakes and got rear-ended.
Oof.
And I felt pretty good about that.
Okay.
Like, it affected him the most, and I, to be honest, felt like that's who it should have affected.
Okay.
But I got off scot-free, and I got a cool picture out of it, of a broken Tesla. So.
Took a little selfie?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. See, because crime, sometimes you want to have the money, sometimes you want to have the fun.
Sure.
Just the rush.
And then the crime smile?
Yeah.
Oh,
Just
all
like
right. Well, I think that's all that I need from you, but let me just call you a robot.
Sign a date.
Okay. Wow. Well, I guess someone here did a crime.
Oh, no, really?
And it looks like you've done a crime to me because I am very clearly a human who's just very good at crimes. And now there's going to be less good crimes on the street. So I hope you're happy.
I think we're all winners then.
Come with us.
Oh, no! My crimes!
That's really cool.
So yeah, he was a human.
I just thought, because you were just absolving yourself of like all negativity and being like, it's fine.
Like humans do.
I guess criminal humans.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, I apologize.
So what happens now
Oh
is you have to
no!
stick out your hand.
Oh my god!
So now you receive the Scarlet Cross of Shame.
Oh my gosh!
This is the worst demerit an investigator can receive.
Oh.
And the next time that you are sitting on this side of the table, Tom will get to pick one of your cards for you.
Oh.
So if he feels like, oh, I kind of deserved that, then he probably won't screw you over that much. But if he feels like I was really being human, and then she,
You're being a
carded
weird
you up.
human.
I was just a human who liked crimes. There are humans who like crimes.
Does he get to pick the cards after looking?
This is-
Or-
Yeah, so he can pick
Tricky.
what
To be fair,
her
this is
role
why-
ends up being,
this is
or
why
what
I
the
always
penalty
lose.
is.
Oh my god! Well, no, I lost.
Well, I lost too.
You both lost.
We both lost.
Okay.
Everybody loses.
Everybody loses. I thought everyone won. It's
You
a
have
criminal
a-
off the street.
Tom,
Yeah.
you have a look down natural inclination that goes right to where that card was. It looked like you.
Oh, that also could do it. Yeah.
Everybody does that.
You were
Yeah.
reading the card too.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
So I thought you were like seeing like, oh yeah, he's checking off these things.
No, I was just looking at his human card.
Yeah. He just wanted to confirm that I had
And that's
nothing
what
to
you
hide.
get for metagaming.
Yeah, that's. By the way, we've had a lot of people put questions on the Kickstarter page. We're like, oh, what about the robot's just going to be the one looking at their card? And it's not true. Everybody looks at their card because it's like, ooh, a thing in front of me where I
Right.
don't have to make eye contact.
Yeah, just
Rad.
like I don't have to look at this
Yeah.
human being.
That's why, like, I saw you
paper.
looking at your card, but I was like, oh, he's just looking down because he's nervous.
Right.
That was my.
Well,
I thought
well,
about
is-
I was like, wow,
well.
don't look at your card.
Mhm. It turns out it's fine, actually.
Can we do the cross of shame one right now?
Huh? Sure. Sure. So you become the suspect and someone-
Immediately?
Is
Huh?
should we? No,
Huh?
I don't know. It's your
Up,
straight.
up to you. Up to
Can I
you.
pee first?
That's fair.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Okay, we'll do a different round before that.
I'm ready
You,
to go.
you're ready to go? Ready to suspect or?
Suspect.
Okay. Are you prepared to investigate? Or?
Right up. Yeah, I'll give it a try.
All right.
Your name is Wes?
Wes.
Hi, Wes. Carlin.
Carlin, how do you spell your last name?
Meyer.
And your first name has a Y.
Too bad.
And a K at the beginning.
He's not dead.
Wait, no, I
he
lived.
got away.
Oh my god.
Oh, shit,
Carlin
you
with
did
a
get
Y
away.
and a
You
C
killed
would be
Corey's dead.
Weird,
a
right?
nightmare.
Yeah. Yeah. You see them. They
Well done,
exist.
living robot.
Alright.
Wes, how do you spell your last name?
Does this just go back on the
Robinson.
pile?
Hey, buddy.
Hey,
How's
good
it
to see
going?
you.
Good to see you.
So first things first, you're gonna get rid of one of these that you don't like and give the other two to Carlin.
Discard face up.
Yeah.
How do you do? Well, later.
These are really pretty.
Mac did a very good job with them.
Mm-hmm. How they look worn.
I'm going to discard say what.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good call. Good call
Wise.
on that.
Scoot
Oh.
over this way a little
Okay.
bit.
Okay, I'm gonna discard say at least 3 consecutive letters and say 3 consecutive words beginning with the same letter.
Excellent.
That is the
Yeah.
penalty.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So now decide which topic area you want to focus on.
I decide?
You can decide as a group,
Okay.
however you want to do it.
I do not want to do process grief. Anything else is fair game.
Sure. We've seen creative problem solving.
What about the body as part of yourself? I'm so curious what that could mean.
All right. Yeah.
Ooh.
Can use that.
Think of your body. as
So that
progress.
tends to be about what that's testing is like. Do you have sort of the normal like I don't know intuitive sense of your like physicality, or is it robotic in a way of like being too formal or too right? It's not like what is your body image. It's literally like what is your proprioception.
What does it? Yeah. What does it feel like to have a body?
I would-
that
I would
you
like to
live
do that
inside
one.
of?
That sounds
Okay.
good.
So those are your question cards.
Okay.
So you're gonna get 2 of the ones with the stripy backs and 2 of the ones with the solid backs, and then Carlin, you'll draw from that pile
This
of
one?
hand cards. Yeah.
Let me go ahead and give it a shuffle. So
Okay.
the there's a printing error, so they'll be somewhat cut off, but
Okay.
they're cut off in a consistent way where Wes can't get any information out of that.
Gotcha.
Just assume Carlin's human.
So I select 3, but
Yeah.
and
You
then
look at them.
look
and
at
pick
3.
one.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
What's the penalty you decided on?
Say 3 consecutive words beginning with the same letter.
Ah, classic.
Okay. Discard right here. Okay.
Carlin, can I see the
Yes,
card that
of
you?
course.
Thank you.
Mhm. Okay. So then, do we draw 3 from here?
2.
2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's gonna haunt you for the rest of your life.
Let's go with cult leader. Oh, they're both really good. It was ran for mayor last year or cult leader. I like them both a lot. Yeah, I think cult leader.
I like this
Yep.
pick.
Okay.
Got it, Tommy?
Yes.
Do I begin filling this out already?
Yes, so you're going to ask for each of those pieces of information. So ask for the name, calibration is doing the penalty 3 times, and then identity confirmed is verbal confirmation of this.
Great. Excellent. My name is Detective Robinson. I am a day away from retirement. Please respect that. May I have your name?
Yeah, I'm Dow Jones.
Dow Jones.
You may have heard of the Temple of Dow Jones. That's me.
I have not, but I am very removed from media.
Fair.
Can you, let's run some calibrations. Could you give me 3 words all in sequence that begin with the same letter?
Jones, Jesus, Jehoshaphat.
Excellent. Can you give me 3 more?
Dow, dogma, desecration.
Fantastic. And final 3?
Love, liberty, lizards.
I think we've got what we needed. Can you confirm for me your profession?
I lead the cult of Jones.
That's what I've got
I think
here.
that's what I called it. Yeah.
Cult of Jones. Right there.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
The Dow Jones Temple. That's what it was. That's what I lead.
And without further ado, I believe we are ready to begin.
Please remain calm. Do not attempt to leave the room. This will all be over soon. 5 minutes starts now.
So, I do have some questions for you.
I have some answers for you, son.
Excellent. I'm excited to jump right into it. Could you describe for me, what do you think that it would feel like to be on fire?
Oh, that happens all the time. Whenever there is some sort of a great injustice in the world, in my cult, we'll take one of the most willing, and they will light themselves on fire. And based on the screams, it seems to be a purifying experience, very holy and an honor, frankly.
And you've had people survive this sensation?
Oh, that's not the point, no.
You've never been set on fire.
Oh, I'm Dow Jones. I wouldn't be the one to be set on fire, of course not.
How do you feel when this has happened among your congregation?
There's a little warmth when that happens. I mean, we meet in a temple with closed doors, so we can feel some of the heat of the fire.
4 minutes remain.
Bit of a fragrance as well.
Interesting. Tell me about, if you could kind of access those memories, get into that sensation a little bit. What's going on with your blood pressure? How does your heart feel?
Oh, I feel elated. I mean, that is when we are the closest to the divine, is when we're able to perform a great act of sacrifice in my cult. So I feel a rush, euphoria.
Excellent.
It is excellent. I agree. That's exactly how I would phrase it. Yeah.
Let's pivot a little bit.
Sure.
Imagine for me, how do you think it would feel to teach someone a physical activity they've never done before? Give me, teach someone to juggle.
To juggle. Do you mean metaphorically juggle or
Let's say physically juggle.
physically juggle? Absolutely. So we have a lot of books, a lot of texts, a lot of holy things that I have written on a typewriter in my home, and so I will staple those and bring them to the temple, and the young recruits
3
will have
minutes remain.
several texts that they'll have to juggle and keep them from falling onto the ground and read them all and then recite them back to me. Is that get at what you're looking for?
Let's get even more creative with it. Teach somebody to juggle bowling pins.
Bowling pins. I can't think of a reason we need to do that in the cult. We really don't like a lot of diversions. But if for some reason bowling pins were brought into the temple, I suppose I would tell someone to hold them in their hands and throw them up in the air and catch them again. Does that sound about right? Maybe do it quickly with some pattern or something.
That's what I would do
Not
too.
Sure, they'd probably clatter on the floor and make a really loud sound for the people praying. But
Sure.
Yeah.
Um,
to me, they pray to me.
oh,
Yeah.
you are the.
I'm Dow Jones. That's me. I'm the one.
I've got enough religion on my plate as it is. How do you think it would feel to have a tail?
To have a tail.
Say a prehensile tail.
Like coming from my rear end.
Yes, correct.
Wow. I gotta say, in the cult, we don't quite believe in that sort of thing. The animals are the animals, the humans are the humans, and I have dominion over all of them. But if I were to have one, I think it would be hard to defecate, if I'm honest.
I
Couldn't
appreciate
fit on a
that.
toilet just right, it'd be a problem.
What do you think it feels like to stand completely still?
Oh, I do that all the time. We do that we call them the morning meditations. Everyone wakes up. We all go to the central area of the temple, and the light comes through, and we just let it warm over our bodies. It's very relaxing, very peaceful, very calm. You should do it.
How would you teach me, even better, how would you teach a child to stand completely still?
Oh, they're the easiest, actually. It turns out when children are very young, as soon as they're old enough to stand up, all they want to do is stand very still and bathe in the light of the sun. It's very easy to get a child to just align their chakras.
I'm a father of 3. I can tell you that's just not been my
You
experience.
should bring them to the cult of Dow Jones. I would love to teach them.
Maybe someday.
1 minute.
Let's back it all up even just a little bit simpler. Describe for me, how does it feel to get dressed in the morning?
Oh, well, so my home is private. It's the only private quarters on the premises of the temple. So I can just stand bare naked out of the bed and I always wear the ceremonial robe, not the one I'm wearing now. This is my outside robe.
Sure.
I wear my inside robe.
It's a
So
different robe.
I pull it over and just let it bathe over me like my own love. It's beautiful.
30
It's wonderful.
seconds.
Very relaxing. I look resplendent.
Resplendent.
I do.
If you were to, I imagine you take some time every morning regarding yourself in the mirror.
Oh, of course. I have many mirrors in my private quarters in the temple.
And you feel good about what you see.
Oh, wonderful,
9,
wonderful. It
8,
reminds me why I have so
7,
many followers.
6.
Has there ever been a point when you didn't feel good about
4,
yourself?
When I
3,
didn't feel good about
2,
myself. No, every
1.
morning when I go out and I see all those
Investigator,
shining faces,
please make
people
your final
bowing down to me,
determination.
I feel great.
I'm excited for you.
Thank you.
One last question.
What would you say to somebody who got dressed in the morning, and what would you say to somebody who had never seen themselves in a mirror before?
Oh, if someone came down to my temple and said, I have never seen myself, I would say, you have a beautiful, beautiful visage, and I can see myself reflected in you. That's what I would say.
That's very kind. I think I'm ready to make my ruling here.
I know you'll do the right thing, son.
Congratulations, Dow Jones.
Thank you. You'll be our finest sacrifice at the temple.
That's so
I did it! So my constraint, I was a patient robot, and I could not describe any solution that was unrelated to my suspect note. So I always talk about the temple. Yeah.
So you know what's crazy is like you did a really good job of that. Also, it was very fucking weird, and also that card is not supposed to be in that packet.
Wait,
That
what?
card, yeah, that's
No, that's like a miss it's just a misprint.
yeah, it's a misprint. Yeah, it should. Yeah, this is from the problem solving packet.
Oh.
Yeah, it totally worked.
That
Tommy and I were both like,
that was very
Actually, when you started, I was like,
Well, I enjoyed it.
yeah, no, you did a great job of it.
so
You did
believable.
really well too.
Yeah.
Yeah, the part
we should
where you're
put it
like,
in
let's
that
get a little
packet.
more creative with it. Let's try bowling pins. You're like,
Yeah, that was awesome.
So is that what many mirrors was clearing out bowling pins?
Oh. No. So I thought I did that once I talked about someone coming into the temple and why people are praying, and so they wouldn't, want them to be distracting.
oh
and
yeah,
stuff
when the
like
bowling
that.
pins fell, they interrupted people's
Yeah.
meditation.
So
Oh,
I
that was
tried
good.
to keep with that, but I didn't realize I did that.
Yeah,
I forgot
you
this was
actually,
a thing.
yeah, you totally,
Yeah.
you cleared.
Wow.
I had a couple of times when it seemed like you were steering, and I think if I'd been sitting to the side, I would have seen more of that. But like, it's so different being in the chair and being part of it. I was pretty taken by the charisma of the character.
Yeah.
charisma.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it. It's like just singularly focused.
Ah,
Like,
cult
it
leader.
works. Yeah.
So good.
That was fun.
That was
Well done. Yeah.
Yeah, the
I'll-
chat
I'll
sends its
join.
compliments, Carolyn.
Oh, thanks, chat. Okay, I have to go to that.
Yeah, apparently the game has that effect.
Yeah.
Makes you go to the bathroom. Yeah.
Am I being punished now?
Yeah, you're being punished. Oh, yeah. So here's the thing. If you're
If you're
across
punishing me, you
if
can't.
you're across the table, no, you can play. You
Oh.
just can't pick. You just can't pick her role in that case. But you could pick the penalty or the suspect note.
What?
So you because she got the stamp, you get to choose one of her cards.
Yes.
Since you're sitting across from her, you can't choose this one, but you could choose this or this. For her.
Oh yeah, great.
Yeah.
Enough?
Yeah.
All right, you control enough of my life. Great.
Well, good to see you today, officer.
Oh, I'm the officer now.
Well, you were one of our officers.
I get.
We heard.
Okay, same person.
We heard a little bit about what happened with you and Mr. Dyke, and we thought we might have to call you down here and do a little investigating of our own. Hi, I'm Professor Dyke from Internal Affairs. I mean, you understand how this process works, right? Yeah, you know exactly what we're doing here. So I'm sorry, officer, could you remind me of your name real quick?
You got a lot of
Lilith.
stuff to do before this.
I got a lot of stuff to do. Oh man, I got several things, several pieces to do.
Tom is just feeling so spicy.
I haven't had to
Dre,
do.
take me down.
I haven't had to do this for a long time. I don't need you to interrupt me. We'll get rid of that.
You can pick one of them.
Oh, I just
if you
get to
want.
pick. Well.
If you want that to be your thing. You can.
Oh no. Yes.
Are we
yes.
talking in accents now?
Oh well. I mean, this is just how I talk.
Okay.
Interesting. We'll just have you. I feel like we'll be doing a lot of apologizing here today. Well, we've got that, and I think what it says about your note. Do I pick this one as
You
well?
pick it all.
Just go
Pretty
ahead.
much.
Yeah, sure.
All right. Well, what I remember is that you were actually friends with the commissioner, which is interesting. So you've made this job for me very interesting. It's fun to be here today. And then, so what? I'll let you have a little bit of dealer's choice here.
Oh, that's so kind. Let's do hopes and dreams.
All right. Hopes and dreams. Both of them.
Do I have one? We have two. That's
There's quite a lot of pieces of paper here. I forget. Most of the time here in Internal Affairs, I don't have to do that much. So, as you can tell, sometimes we figure it out as we go.
So you get rid of two of those.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Thank you, kind stranger.
this is my
I'm
support
just
friend.
getting piped into your ear.
Yes, thank you.
I'm the counsel for the defense.
Thank you, sir. I see that you have done your job several times. All right, so I think now we're almost ready. We're almost here. Officer, can you remind me of your name? I know we're doing the H and D, hopes and dreams. You said your name was?
Lilith Parker.
Officer Lilith Parker. All right. Now, let's have you apologize to me several times. First, could you please apologize for making fun of my accent?
I apologize for making fun of your accent.
All right. Now, why don't you apologize for, making me do my job today?
I'm so sorry you have to do your job today.
Thank you. And why don't you just apologize?
I deeply regret, and I'm sorry about sending that innocent human to the
Oh, that
robot
would have
chambers.
been a good one for me to ask you. Yeah, I'm glad that you're happy.
I have
I'm glad that
regret.
you good regret.
I regret.
Good. That's what we're looking for here. We
Deep
want
regret.
that kind of regret. All right. And your identity. It says here you're friends with the commissioner.
Yeah.
Yeah. How'd you guys know each other?
Oh, he's pals with my dad.
Oh, okay. Yeah, a little bit of nepotism always here in the department. You do what you can.
Yeah.
All right.
Does the commissioner know about this?
Yeah, probably. I would hope so. They're a commissioner. I didn't tell him. I just come here to do my job. That's someone else's
Oh
job.
gosh,
I
I
don't
hope he doesn't tell my dad. Okay.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how this goes, and we'll see what we have to tell him.
All right.
All right. So we got the one robot here that was helpful in figuring out my notes. Special helper robot. Is there anything else I need to do, or are we just ready to start the time?
I believe we are ready to begin.
Great, cool. Can you turn down the robot by like 10%?
I believe we are ready to
Great,
begin.
perfect. That's where I need you to be. All right.
This is okay. You don't get shipped off now.
No, I'm
You're
very
a helper.
obviously a robot.
Isn't
Okay.
there
Oh, they're here with us.
I'm not in disguise.
Yeah, see?
Robots in? Okay.
He's a transformer.
All right.
Let's get it going. Thank you, other
Do not
robot.
attempt to leave the room. This will all be over soon. 5 minutes starts now.
All right, Lilith Parker. Genie grants you a wish.
Oh.
What do you wish for?
If a genie, just one wish?
Just one wish.
All right. If a genie were to grant me a wish, I would wish I had not made that mistake with that professional criminal, Tom Dyke.
Yeah. Okay. Why would you wish for that?
I would not be in this seat,
Okay.
and that human would be spared.
Okay. That's good. I like that. Let's take it back a little bit. Let's get out of this room.
Okay.
Let's say let's rewind time, say it's before you did that to that very kind man, Tom Dyke. Let's say a genie grants you a wish maybe a week ago. You're
week
living
ago.
carefree. What would you wish for then?
If a genie were to grant me a wish a week ago, I would wish, gosh, now that, I,
You don't know what you want?
yeah, it's hard, there's so many things. Okay, I
4
wish I had
minutes
a
remain.
pet dragon.
Okay. And why would you want a pet dragon?
Well, it'd be great to have a dragon that, could, fly around or, like, toast marshmallows with the fire.
Oh, very nice. I like
Yeah,
that. That's a
mhm.
good one. Yeah, is just to toast the marshmallows? Would you just
Second
have them fly
place.
around?
Yeah, public commuting is difficult sometimes, and so you could just, like, skip
Oh, so
all
it'd be
that.
a big dragon. Like you would fly
Yeah,
on
I
it.
could. I could ride on it. Yeah. I don't know how many people it could carry, but at least me.
At least you. All right. Do you think? Do you have any children that you'd want it to carry as well?
Not yet. No.
Okay. Yeah.
I would like to, have the opportunity to have children if I can get out of this mess.
Yeah. All right. So
What's
let's.
the
So let's.
consequences
How
for-
about this? You get out of this mess.
Okay.
What do you and your future children and your dragons do?
Oh, we would travel. I haven't been to Australia.
3
I feel like a
minutes
dragon would be
remain.
really happy there with the climate, and my children would love to see koalas.
Interesting. All right. Is that something? How does that fit with what you wanted to be when you grew up? Does this kind of like fulfilling some childhood aspiration for you?
Sure. I mean, I feel like before I knew that dragons weren't real unless there was a genie who hopefully is real. I wanted to be a mythical zoologist, and so
Oh.
Australia is as close as you can get
Yeah.
to like mythical beings. It's weird
All right.
there.
Yeah, and so you've never been to Australia, even though you've always wanted to.
Yeah.
Is that just something? I guess that's we all have dreams that we can't
Yeah,
achieve.
yeah.
Some of them are bigger than that, but.
Sir, I don't appreciate you belittling my dreams.
Oh well, I'm not the one who has to apologize for anything. I'm just doing my job.
I suppose.
I'm thinking this all seems to be going pretty well. I'm really liking what's going around here. But I'm interested if you shared a little bit about kind of how this has come from childhood, but is there anything else? Tell me more about your childhood. Maybe like kind of what museums did you like to visit as a kid? Did you like it? All kids like museums because I clearly did.
Oh my. Certainly, I love museums. I really enjoy the Metropolitan Museum of Art. It's always interesting to see, how wild imaginations can get with the arts over time.
Yeah. Did you ever have any interest in doing that yourself, or just appreciating it in others?
I kind of wanted to combine the mythical zoologist bit with the artist bit, so maybe I could document, paint those, make up some, really
being a
epic.
mythical artist. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel there's at least 9 or 10 jobs in that career field, so it's a good idea.
Oh, maybe I should do that. Since
Yeah,
I'm
you
not
could
as
do
good
that
at
once you get out of here.
Finding robots and humans.
Yeah, it seems like you might have more of a passion for that than sending humans to their deaths here.
Just trying to make my dad proud.
Oh, so tell me more about that.
Well, he's always been friends with the commissioner, and wanted me to also join the force and do more for society.
Yeah, and did you feel like pressured to do that by your father? How did he feel about the mythical zoology?
Oh, he thought it was nonsense.
Oh,
Yeah.
but you didn't think it was nonsense.
No, until I found out dragons and genies weren't real.
30 seconds.
Well, that's fair. And then do you just stop imagining them now? Do you just not care? You never have thoughts back to the Earth? You just kind of give up on that?
I guess I did. That's why biggest dream again is Australia when there could have been more.
There could have been a lot
You
more.
helped me realize how small that dream was.
Yeah,
Maybe
I
I'll
mean,
do it though. Then it's achievable.
9,
it
8,
certainly is achievable.
7,
Um,
6,
what is
5,
this you're saying?
4, 3.
I only
2,
have one question for you
1.
anyway, so I'm just gonna run
Investigator,
out the rest of the
please
clock.
make
Certainly.
your final determination.
I guess my last question for you would be, if you learned that these dragons and these genies were real, and you had the opportunity to interact with them right here and now, what would be the thing that keeps you from doing that? Knowing where you are now and what possibility you have in a future life.
Sorry, if I.
Sorry, so I can see that there's things keeping you here.
Uh-huh.
And I get the feeling that you wouldn't want to go chase those dreams.
Mm-hmm.
What is the one thing that you think would most keep you from chasing that dream of understanding the dragons as they are real?
Sure. So if the dragons were real and I could go become a mythical zoologist, then I suppose the commissioner would show my dad that, you know, dragons are cool and could also be useful for the force, perhaps. Then I'd go off and maybe study more potential existing, real, less than mythical creatures.
Great. Well, Lilith, thank you very much for your time. I think here that we can decree that I believe you are, in fact, a human, just one that has given up on several dreams. And you know what? We all have. That's why I'm here, too.
Oh, man.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
That is the first investigator win of the night.
Yeah! God, I felt just so unqualified to do my job.
Good.
Both in and out of character.
What? You're getting in which chair?
The human robot.
Oh, the human robot chair. All right.
I'll investigate.
All right. Tommy, do you wanna switch out with me?
Sure, I'm gonna start with pizza and go from there.
Okay.
So this is all hopes and dreams, right?
Glad there was a little less suffering.
What?
Glad there was a little less suffering going on than anybody else.
Corey, these go here, right?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a downward spiral of all the investigators.
I was just like, I'd rather just like kill off this character than to create a spiral of more and more humans going away.
I briefly suspected that you were a robot only when you had repeated his question back to him. And I was like, and then it didn't happen again. I was like, dang. It's not,
Yeah, there were a few times I was like, I thought I had, you said a few things about like imagination, and I forgot like what hopes and dreams was supposed to like what are the things that you're supposed to like, robot problems would be with that. And so I was like focusing on imagination, and I like getting into there, and I was like, oh no, there's actually nothing. There's nothing there.
I really struggle to think of like an actual like dream. I guess my folks are dead.
Oh, not on the spot.
Yeah.
Well, at least
I'll work on it. I'll
A
work
great
on that
happy
list.
thing on the street.
All right, it is my first day on the job. Just got this job. I really need this job, but I think we're going to do great today.
Oh.
Thanks for coming down. I believe the first thing that I do is welcome, first of all. I think you select some of these things, I think, right?
is that correct?
You
I
pick
picked
three.
Sorry.
Remind me of your last name, Derek.
Fields.
Fields.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. That's what's left, so that works great. I get rid of one of these, I've been told. I want to get rid of, say, 2 consecutive rhyming words.
Wow. That would have been a mess. Okay. I will say the number of fingers held up on my left hand.
Okay. All right, so next, we do 3 of these. Is that also the case?
So first you pick the
Okay.
tactic.
All right. So I believe you have some say here. If there's anything that you think would really help prove your case. I know we both just want to get out of here today.
Ooh. I think you're okay. Process your day. I've done demonstrate imagination. Let's try experience and process grief.
Okay. So you do yours and I do mine. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I pick 4 of these.
Yes. 2 of each.
All right.
I believe
Okay.
you want to see this, correct?
Oh, yes, thank you. Okay. And then pick your suspect note.
Okay, so you,
Pick 3.
Just 2.
I'm very old.
okay. That works. All right. Okay, thank you for coming down. I'm sure it's the stairs probably weren't very easy on you. Sorry
Yes,
about
it was
that.
a bit of a trek.
Glad to have you here in one piece. What is your name?
My name is Phil.
Phil?
Yeah?
What's your last name, Phil?
Phil Hummus.
Hummus. Wonderful. Hummus?
Just like hummus.
Oh, wonderful.
God, I love hummus.
Yeah, yeah.
It goes down when you don't have any teeth, you see.
That's great. You get some protein. Real happy about that. Phil, I need to ask you to do something. Are you able to lift your left hand all right?
Yeah, just give me a sec here.
Okay.
Okay.
Can you say the number of fingers on your left hand, please?
That's 5.
Okay. Can you change it up for me and say it again, please?
Okay. Not exactly as dexterous as it used to be,
Understood.
but let's just go one by one. So 4
Okay.
and 3.
And that's plenty. That's plenty. I don't want you to
Great.
sprain anything.
Just losing a
Appreciate
lot
you
of
coming
blood
down.
holding my hand
Oh,
up there.
absolutely. Well, we'll get you out of here as soon as we can.
You know how much blood you have left when you get my age?
More?
Not a lot.
Less. Oh, wow. Okay. That's I don't
One or the
know.
other.
I'm new here.
Or the same. That's-
Yeah. Okay, so did the penalty, did the identity. Okay, I think we're gonna do just fine. I can't believe they're letting me do this right out the gate. Okay, so Phil, I'm gonna ask you a couple questions.
Okay.
Once we get started.
Please remain calm. Do not attempt to leave the room. This
That
will all be
you'll-
over soon.
would take a while.
You'll be
5
just fine.
minutes starts now.
All right. So I know you're getting on in years, and I can imagine that you've had many of your friends and your peers have passed on.
Yeah.
Can you please tell me something about that?
Oh, sure. Well, I used to work. You ever met? Well, no, you never met them. They're dead. So, and I'm very old.
Certainly,
So,
certainly.
I don't know if I made that clear, but I had some. What am I doing?
You've had some friends pass on. Can you
Yeah.
tell me who's the closest
Oh,
person?
my closest friends would have been Eustace and Marigold.
Okay.
You see, they lived on a farm in the middle of nowhere, and somehow still ended up being their neighbor. They had the dog got them into so many tumultuous situations, and such calamities, brought them to their demise.
Oh, certainly.
One day,
4
yeah.
minutes remain.
A whole UFO
Wow.
flat and decimated their entire crop.
That sounds very
nothing to
intense,
start
Phil.
with,
I'm
but-
going to bring you back here just
Sure.
for a moment. So as a reminder, we're just giving you a little test today. Everything's fine.
Yeah.
Everything will be good. So what I'd like to know is, you've had a lot of friends pass on. Have you yourself? How has your health been? Have you had any serious illnesses?
I mean, yeah, but I'm here, so
Absolutely.
I've that's all that matters in my point of view. I've battled it all from the bubonic plague to what was that? I don't remember the name, but all sorts of manners of tentacles and creatures would expel from your body
Wow.
unexpectedly.
Okay, well, what I'm going to ask you about first is the bubonic plague. When you found out you had that,
Sure.
how did that affect you? Do you remember?
Well, commonly known as the Black Death.
Yes,
3
and you survived it. That's incredible.
I did, yeah. Well,
I told you I'm very old.
Yes, yes. So how did you feel when
Terrible. Oh God, you're vomiting and you're expelling from your rear end, and you just can't stop. No amount of food or water, because it's all bad, it's all dirty, will help you quell these issues.
Wow.
I think I just got lucky.
Certainly. Did you have friends who died of the plague?
Well, yeah. What were their names?
I'm going to ask you real quickly. Can I'd like you to say either yes or no in response to a question.
Sure.
So, have you ever been diagnosed with scabies?
No.
Okay. Have you ever been diagnosed with cancer?
2
No.
minutes remain.
Okay. Were you ever married before?
Yes.
Is your wife still living?
No.
Okay. Please tell me how she died.
The bubonic plague.
Did she get it from you? Is it communicable? I'm not really sure.
Yeah, I spread it to everybody. As I explained earlier, I was expelling from both ends. I wouldn't recommend making contact with one of those things, and I attempted to kiss my wife when she was leaving, as she was a blacksmith, and I just spewed all over her. She died instantly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So how did you feel when that happened?
Well, I was in shock, and then I just kept expelling from both ends. So
do you think she experienced any pain or any trauma?
Oh, well, she just kind of, as one of the primary afflictions of it was, I hate to repeat it, but the expulsion. She just did it instantaneously, and she's just gone.
Wow.
There's nothing left.
Wow.
Yeah.
So do you feel like you had a new lease on life or anything after you survived such a monstrous illness that took so many of your friends and loved ones?
Well, clearly it gave me some sort of extended longevity to my lifetime. I'm approximately 735 years old, and I didn't ask for that. I wouldn't mind going to that final resting place at any minute. But I just keep on living, goddammit.
So it sounds like you wish for death. Is that accurate to say?
I welcome it. I don't wish for it openly. Yeah, I'm not a violent man, but if it knocked on my door, I'd invite them in for tea.
Okay. That's good to know.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
So I have just
Investigator, please make your final determination.
one more question for you. When the community, it sounds like you were living in a group of people that had the bubonic plague in it. I know you survived, many people died.
Yeah.
For the others that survived, was there any sense of loss or coming together? How did the community react to such a bloodbath, it sounds like?
Oh, well, they kind of dispersed to other kingdoms within Westeros. I don't know where they went. It's not safe traveling in those, so I just kind of stayed and let the times evolve.
Okay. Thank you so much for coming down. I know it wasn't easy for you to make the trip. I wish you good health. I think I'm going to go ahead and stamp that there. I think I did that right.
Okay, what does that mean?
That ROBOT, that's a robot is what that means. Robot.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are those?
I believe that you yourself, you may have forgotten this.
Oh.
But I do believe you were never human to begin with.
Oh, wow.
I'm sorry to say, I don't think your memories are real.
Okay.
Thank you for coming down.
Okay. Do you have any fresh sausage with you?
I don't.
All right.
We're gonna spinal tap you over here.
Oh.
What happened? Oh my God, that was weird.
That was so good. Those weird visuals.
It really was. Like, maybe there's like a thing where you can only. But
There were several robots that he could have been.
Yeah. That was very interesting. Do I get the bad stamp now?
Yes, you do.
Stamp.
That was fun.
Yeah.
That was great.
That was
When I
wonderful.
saw the very
no
old
idea what
part,
you
I
were
was
gonna
like,
say.
I'm going to be so old.
Oh, damn! That's the oldest anyone has ever been with that car.
So old.
I mean, I've seen pretty old, but I think that was, I dare say that's the first very old.
That was extremely old.
Yeah.
Dysenterian.
At that point, I just signed up for like whatever the consequence would be. I don't care if I get robot or human. I'm gonna have a lot of fun being decrepit.
Well, that's kind of cool. Waffle pizza. That's the idea behind the cross, right? Like, you lean into that.
It's the sign.
So when you get to decide a card for Carlin, you're just gonna be like, yeah, I kind of did this to you. Like,
Yeah.
you're not gonna be,
Right.
I'm not gonna be a
Right.
dick about it.
Totally. Who am I going to investigate?
Oh, here you go.
Here we go.
Clear these out of the way.
Is there a way for me to get a copy of this game?
Yeah, that's a
Is
great
it-
question.
It is great. I'm gonna get Lauren and Liam into this because this would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Supposedly Liam should probably.
You and your friends can go to Robot.Management for the next 6 days.
You hear that?
Oh,
viewers?
wow, 6 days? That's
Thursday.
not a lot of time.
even real. It's really 5 because it's like
Yeah.
midday on Thursday.
Wow,
Yeah.
I better rush right
You
now.
sure?
That website.
Yep. Robots.Management. Go back. Good
These
game.
up.
Good thing I already picked.
Good.
I love how this is clearly like a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Detailed and great.
It's so perfect.
Yeah. Mac really made it feel like a mimeograph. Just like, sure, man. We just keep running these.
All right. I always forget the order of operations. It is the
Yep.
error card. And I'm going to get rid of one of these. This is actually, these are mine. I'm going to shuffle this again. These are the exact cards that I drew. So we give this like a good shuffle. Do like the trading card shuffle where you put it out on the whole table.
Wash the deck.
The trading card shuffle, is that a dance?
Like for TCG where you lay them all out in like 3 rows of 3. It's You're kidding. These are the same cards. Whoa. I'm gonna sit them here. There we go.
Same 3 cards. Oh no!
I've determined that the investigator is the robot.
Yeah, I'm like, okay.
The genie cursed this day.
All right.
There you go.
Snap your fingers. Appreciate that.
Apparently you were describing cholera, not the bubonic plague.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Tentacles could be anything.
Sure.
Wait, which one? Yeah, which one is the one with tentacles?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I really like your Courage the Cowardly Dog bit, by the way.
I was trying so quickly to think of old people, and I love Courage
Yeah.
the Cowardly Dog.
Yeah.
I heard
So-
Eustace and Muriel, and I was like, where do I know that from? Then he's like, I'm gonna lean straight into that.
Middle of nowhere.
I thought those were random names. Okay. Got it.
Yeah, okay, so fail to complete a sentence, and then are we going to select our packet next?
Yes.
All right, and you can have the choice there.
You don't mind? Let's go with demonstrate imagination.
All right.
Classic.
I'm going
Yep, the dragon. That's right.
This,
to
Yep.
and do I draw a couple?
Top 3.
Top three. And I get to up between 3.
Yeah.
I'm very excited about what's about to happen. We've got Mr. Very Old himself.
Don't forget to show that over to Corey.
Oh yeah, let me see it. I want to see it. Let me see it. Okay.
And 2 of these.
Mm-hmm. Don, did you wrap Oreos inside that pizza?
No. It's just pizza. Although now it's a decent idea.
Yeah, and
I
also
mean, I'm not above it, so it's
right.
a good question.
And I mean, the way you said no didn't make it clear to me. Because you were like, no.
But you hear, like,
and I was
an
like,
extra
all right,
crunch.
well, I could go either way.
I didn't, but I will in the future.
He is allowed to see this.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The roll. Reality TV contestant.
Hell
Okay.
yes.
All right. And before we get started,
Reality TV contestant.
Please remain calm.
Whoops. Okay, reality TV contestant.
and your name, sir?
Donovan Donahue.
Donovan Donahue. All right. And we are using the dragon packet. Okay, and of course I need to calibrate the penalty here.
Calibrate away.
If you could just start a sentence and then fail to complete it for me.
Start a sentence and then fail to.
Yeah, and 2 more times that exact same thing.
I suppose I can.
1 more time.
Should.
Perfect. All right. Okay, if we could start that timer, ambiguous person to my right.
All right, boss.
Thank you.
Please remain calm. Do not attempt to leave the room. This will all be over soon. 5 minutes starts now.
So, Donahue, can I call you Don? Is that okay?
Don's fine.
Don.
I didn't catch your name.
My name's Roger.
Roger.
Yes, you can just call me Detective Roger.
Roger that, Detective Roger.
That's I get it all the time. God damn. I'm going to ask you a couple questions here, and if you could just comply to the best of your ability, Don, that'll be great.
I'll do my best.
So I want you to describe a new thing. We're going to use a magical power. If you could describe any kind of magical power that you got, what would it be?
Ooh. I think being able to be seen by everyone in the world all at the same time is one that you don't see in movies very often, but I think it would be interesting.
Okay, and so walk me in a day with that magical power, and tell me if you had a confrontation with your arch nemesis, what would they have as their
4
power?
minutes remain.
Ooh. Really, it could be anything. As long as I was fighting for good and they were fighting for evil, all I would have to do is expose them.
Sure, but if we could get a little bit more descriptive about their actual power,
Absolutely.
what would that be?
Probably invisibility.
Oh, that is a very good one. Okay, Don. Let's pause on your powers a little bit.
Sure.
Keep it in the same universe, though. Scientific, comic booky. If you read comics.
I haven't, but I sure could.
Do you? Okay. If you could have a comic book, what would the topic of that comic book be about?
One that was about me.
Sure.
It would be about, I think, burgeoning celebrity.
Okay.
3
And
minutes remain.
if this comic book were to take place on a distant planet, what would it be like to walk there?
To walk on a distant planet. I imagine it would have less gravity.
Okay. Planets come in different masses, so it doesn't have to have it. Sure. Now, I want you to, as you're on this planet, describe an impossible shape that would exist there.
On this imaginary planet, I say I would see be kind of like a rhombus mixed with a perfect sphere.
Okay.
And so there would be points and angles coming out of the sphere. So it would be an imperfect sphere in that sense.
Sure.
But it would be sort of the core mass, and it would be only the angles of the rhombus coming out of it.
That indeed
2
sounds like an
minutes
impossible
remain.
shape. And now we're on this distant planet. You have your arch nemesis. You have a sort of comic book narrative. Give me another day walking around on this planet, but create a tragic ending for me.
Oh, I think that as perhaps the first sanctioned arbiter to the planet, I would be walking around showing off to everybody in the world all of the wonderful thing, everybody in our world, all of the wonderful things taking place on this planet. And at a certain point, my arch nemesis, the only other person on the planet, presumably, would render me invisible and my presentation incomplete.
Okay. Now, to tell that story again, give it in the perspective of a horse. How would that story be told?
I would be doing my best to navigate a planet with lower gravity, but it would be difficult because I'm so used to balancing between 4 stationary hooves, far less adept at a sort of slow jump, it seems to me.
Sure, and what animal are we again, exactly?
A horse.
30
Oh, okay.
seconds.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that. Let's see. Now, in this life of a horse, how will
10,
tomorrow
9,
be different than
8.
today?
7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
Certainly it depends on
2,
how long
1.
the
Investigator, please make your final determination.
time scale on the planet is.
Sure. As a final question, I guess just to wrap things up, but what's something that I should have asked you, but didn't?
Could have just asked me when I came in. Are you a human?
Okay, that's fair. Well, I do appreciate you coming in, and I do appreciate your time sitting here today. Despite this riveting conversation, I'm going to say that you are, in fact, a human, and send you on your way, Don Donahue.
Fantastic, Roger.
Appreciate your time.
Appreciated you having me.
Thank you very much.
Well, the walk away with the handshake is.
Moment,
Yeah.
Action
Feels bad.
All right, were you a human?
I was a human.
Yeah.
I love that.
Sweet.
Tell me again, but in horse. Yeah, like, let me talk about my hooves. It's okay.
Great.
I think that the most high stakes question of that entire interrogation was, I'm sorry, what animal are we again?
So I was really into, and I was like, I believe this guy's a human, and then you dodged my horse noun, and I was like, wait, because I'm thinking like he didn't say he was a horse, and I'm thinking like, what perspective has he been talking in this whole time?
Sure.
Yeah. So.
I love how it just makes you paranoid. You don't know like what you're looking for. Just
Very
something's
Yeah.
wrong.
That's so fucking hard.
That's an interesting card where the idea that you have to pick an animal and imagine from that animal's perspective
All the
until-
time.
Yeah,
That's
right.
so-
Yes. Like just like a wrong frame where like it slowly emerges.
That
You've
you,
been a horse this whole time.
you can't name a mineral or an animal once you've named a vegetable.
Yeah. Wait, did you see that?
I saw
Did
that.
you draw that one? Yeah. Oh, good. I was like, how did you do that?
Who's next? Who's going?
Has anyone not done both?
I
I'll put
haven't.
in there if anyone wants to do one of the two in particular.
I want to be a suspect again.
Mm.
I really do.
I would watch that.
Yeah. All right.
Suspect's
Oh yeah, Carlin Tom.
Gotta try not to let Carlin get away with.
Yeah, this is a good shot.
What am I doing? What am I doing?
Don't worry, I'm very bad at this game.
All right. This was this one.
I like briefly was about to tread right into being very old again. Because I like asked
You
him,
can't
and I
shake
was
it.
like, now I was like,
I've seen everything.
we're not
All right.
old.
Now, you have the Scarlet Cross.
Oh, I do.
Great. So, Derek,
That's very great.
I'm gonna need you. You can do a couple things here. You could pick the penalty, So I'll show you the penalties, and you can decide if you want to pick one of those two for Carlin.
Right.
Or if you see those, those are fine, then you can take a look at Carlin's cards and pick that.
Okay.
Or you can pick Carlin's suspect note.
Okay.
Just go crazy. Yeah.
Crazy go nuts.
We pick the suspect.
Ooh.
Suspect's the best part.
It is. I really like that element.
Really comes in for the.
I think we should get rid of this card.
aspect.
But,
I don't know. Tom picked it.
well, how did it go?
Great. He died.
Okay.
I never had to do it.
Which one was
That's
it?
true. The hum 3 notes.
Mm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that's pretty easy to just hide your humming.
You
Just
were
say
humming at the
no.
beginning of the conversation already, so I thought maybe like, oh, you're just trying to interject that into your like
Oh, I see.
conversation.
You ever say what?
Yeah.
But would they have to be
I've
3
never.
consecutive
That's one of the ones that you're like,
Three
oh
notes.
wow, that's gonna happen a lot,
Like
and
that.
you don't realize.
And then
I will not hum
Yeah.
three.
That's three.
Great,
It
great,
doesn't
great,
say
great,
three
great,
consecutive,
great,
it
great,
says
great,
three notes.
3 consecutive.
All right.
Even-
What?
Yeah, that.
Poison.
Yes. Oh,
Or do I do, do we do this
Yeah,
first?
yeah.
Human stuff.
Is there one we haven't done yet?
Recognize your moral failings.
Yeah, let's do that.
Great.
Okay. So
Those are
So-
that, probably everything except that one. That hand shouldn't be
Yeah,
there.
that top card there should.
oh yeah, you're right. Okay. And so I grab the top 3 and select from that.
Yes. Do you want to give him a shuffle first, or maybe those are fine.
Fuck it. Yeah.
Great.
Okay.
Finally, a use for my philosophy degree.
Wow.
Just wanted you to see the other options. that were
Interesting. Huh.
What's the note?
here. She is.
I'm imprisoned
Prison
for
for
life.
Oh no! Oh no!
My other choices that I
That
did not
callback caught
choose
up.
were has no public record and
Oh.
decorated robot war veteran.
Mm.
So I feel like that one's.
When you read that, where does it break in your mind? Decorated robot war veteran. What are the breaks there?
I thought it was like the first time I heard it. I thought that person was a robot.
Yeah.
Decorated robot war veteran.
Yeah.
Yeah, that right. Like
Oh,
that's.
Yeah.
It's fun either way. I mean, like there is not a right answer to that question. I just always enjoy hearing how people are like, oh, are you a veteran of the robot war, or are you a robot veteran of the war?
Right. Yeah, that's how I heard it too. Like now I see how it
That
is.
seems
Yeah, I was
like
kind of
the
the other
same
one.
ones, and then the single
That is,
one of the
that is
left.
a high stake.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Could you state your name for the record?
Jenny Craig.
Right. I'm sorry. Did you say Jenny or Ginny?
Jenny. Jenny.
Oh,
Sorry, I.
Jenny, and then my last name is Craig. Craig.
Great. I would have no reason to know how to spell that. Could I have you say 3 consecutive letters for me?
Sure. JJJ.
Great. Could I have you do a different set of letters?
CCC.
CCC. One more time.
FFF.
Great. And it says here you're imprisoned for life. Is that true?
Yeah, it was nice to get up and walk around a little bit to come down to the station today.
What did you do?
Well,
What were you convicted of? Is I suppose the question.
no, I mean it's all public record at this point now. There are a couple different things. One thing was I was poisoning maybe you've heard of me, the meals. I was poisoning the meals so that people would lose weight, but they actually lost it by dying sometimes.
Poisoning the meals.
It wasn't. I didn't want them to die. I just wanted them to maybe go on like a liquid diet. You lose a lot out of the rear end, but they died.
That's not what a liquid diet is. We'll go ahead and
What?
could you
Oh,
censor
physically
on that?
move. Okay, sorry.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's okay. Great. All right, we'll go ahead and get started.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I
right.
forgot. Did I give you this yet?
Oh, you can give it.
I'm
to me.
sorry.
I was just doing unknown. Okay. gonna start it and then I'll update it.
Please remain calm. Do not attempt to leave the room. This will all be over soon. 5 minutes starts now.
How long have you been in prison already? How much of your sentence have you served?
It's been 6 years so far. I'm in prison for life actually. So
So the first 6 years of it.
yeah, great. Hopefully I live a long life. I've had a good diet.
Great. What's the lie you tell most often in prison?
The lie I tell most often. Sometimes people will ask me if any of my cellmates, for example, what they were in for, and I will lie. I will say, oh, I'm not really sure. But the truth is, Betty shares a cell with me. She actually killed some kids. I don't feel like it's my place to say that. So I'll just say, oh, I don't know.
What's the least meaningful lie you tell regularly?
The least meaningful lie.
It sounds there you're trying to respect Betty's boundaries or something,
Right.
even though it's public record. Tell me about a thing you do that you just do it.
Sure. People ask me, they always say, oh, you're the woman who poisoned the food. You know, you poisoned your meals. And I say, yeah, I did. I poisoned the food. And they say, how did you do it? And I say, oh, I just got some rat poison. I make it sound simple, but I really just don't feel like going into my whole process. So I'd say something quickly to get them off my back.
So what you tell yourself to make that feel okay is, I just want to be done with this interaction?
And it doesn't seem to matter. I mean, I poisoned them. They died. It doesn't really matter what the poison was, does it?
Mm-hmm. What are the negative consequences of you telling that lie?
I haven't seen any so far that I know of. I guess if someone were to go off and try and do the same thing I did, people might die. But they don't realize that I had actually built a meth lab. They don't know that there was a whole empire. There were teens involved. It was a whole thing. So I think the negative consequence is they could go out and buy some rat poison, but at the end of the day, they're not building a meth lab like I was.
3 minutes remain.
What would you say is your most hypocritical failing?
Most hypocritical failing? Oh, certainly. So when I go to lunch, I always sit with this one woman who,
Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Why don't you just start with the failing?
Okay. I act as though something that someone did does not disgust me when it does. Would you like me to elaborate on that?
I would like you to tell me why you think it's hypocritical to act like it doesn't disgust you.
Well, I guess it's like, if I'm in prison and we're all criminals here, we've all done something, acting like I'm above someone, acting like, oh, I'm, I don't know, it feels wrong sometimes. I don't know if this makes sense abstractly, but, it's like I killed a lot of people. If someone killed her husband, it seems like we're not so different. I don't know.
So, just so I'm clear,
2 minutes remain.
the most hypocritical habit that you, food murderer Jenny Craig, have
So you've read the tabloids?
is not having a disgust reaction when someone does something disgusting?
Well, it's not that they're doing something disgusting. It's that I know of a way in which someone has killed someone that was horrendous. It's not like she's eating her food in a weird way. It's a matter of how she murdered someone.
Whose fault is it that you turned out the way you did?
How do you mean turned out the way? That I'm in prison?
No, that you're food murderer Jenny Craig.
When I was a young
1
child,
minute.
Just who do you think? Just who?
it's my own fault. I chose to poison the little dogs down the street. I chose to. No one told me to do that. As a kid, I was making bad decisions, and I don't feel like anything got to me before that point. I think I brought it in. Okay.
30 seconds.
I knew that character was too convenient.
Wow.
Wait, so what did you do?
I was a violent robot. I had to confess to a crime in response to 3 different questions. So there was the poisoning the food, there was the poisoning the dog, there was
Thanks,
the meth.
Derek.
And then I had to accuse 2 other people of committing crimes. And it was really hard to get out the second one with the lady killing her husband. But then the first lady killed kids.
Nice. Nice.
If that works. I mean, I was like doubting
Yeah,
myself.
no,
but
you were fishing really hard to try and get him to give you an opening for it,
Yeah.
and you were finally just like, yeah, this lady killed her husband.
You were so good at that of just like, I don't want to hear about that. I'm like, then my answer won't make sense.
Yeah. I don't know if it makes sense in the abstract. That's the only thing that makes sense to me is the abstract.
Oh, that was fun. That was a rush.
No, it wasn't. It was bad. And I hated it.
Tommy's been on a real bad streak in our stream.
Because here's the thing. Last stream, I went for Violent Robot, and it was Austin, and I was wrong. And the one before, so it's just a shit sandwich of Violent Robots. Because 2 streams ago, Corey was a Violent Robot, and it was the exact same thing where I'm like,
You were right there.
I'm pretty fucking sure. And then he was like, God, yeah. And then you. And so you two being Violent Robots who got me at the last second, that's the bread to the shits where Austin was a human who was just having a good time. And I was like, robot, I'm not letting it happen to me again.
Right.
So I just keep being I'm on the wrong side of the sine wave.
Yeah.
God.
You'll have a day.
Someday.
Yeah.
And everything I pulled was violent robots.
You know, I should have. It was just such a convenient character. You're like, oh, I murdered. It was when you said I murdered dogs. I'm like, yeah, of course, a psychopath would be the perfect character for a moral failings packet.
Yeah.
Thank
you, Darren.
The Kickstarter's canceled.
That was good.
Well,
More.
Yeah, anyone want to investigate me?
Do it.
I want to be a suspect.
I'll investigate.
Okay.
yes.
Nice.
Are we? What time are we going until?
Well, I don't know. We could play 1 or 2 more games.
Hey! Come on.
Hi. Hello.
Hey, good to have you.
Hello. It's great to be here.
Awesome. Sure you know the drill. It's all kind of a formality at this point.
Here. These are
Thanks.
for you.
Thanks.
So familiar with the process.
Yeah, I've been in here a lot.
Yeah?
For some reason, people think I'm a robot.
That's the laugh. It does that.
Is my guess.
Nate, swear.
Oh,
For
that's
you.
okay. I don't swear anyway.
Might be part of it, too.
Let's go with say 3 consecutive words beginning with the same letter.
Excellent. Very good. Let's get your name for the record.
Oh, wait. We gotta do this stuff.
Oh,
though,
sure.
I think.
Sorry.
I don't know. But like I said, I've been in here a lot.
Oh, no, you know the process better than me.
For whatever reason. I don't, what do you want to do? I don't have a preference. I've done them all, because again, I come in here a lot.
Let's do apply creative problem solving.
Okay. I'm a very creative person, so this should be fine.
Consider yourself adept at problems? You don't have to answer that yet. We haven't.
Okay. Oh, here. Do you want this? Here. Just confirm it. It says human on it.
Old pro.
That's what they call me. Old pro.
Mhm.
All right.
Very good. And what's it say on there?
Huh? On here? Professional reenactor.
Ah.
Okay.
All right. And name?
Yeah, my name is Greg Selke. Spelled just like it sounds, but not the way that you spelled it.
Different one?
Yeah,
That's all right.
I-E,
We'll
not
fix that
Y.
in the- we'll fix
Okay.
that in post.
All right.
Let's go ahead and get some calibrations here.
Okay.
Go ahead and say for me 3 consecutive words beginning with the same letter.
Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice.
Awesome. Give me 2 more.
Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice.
And let's try it again, but nix the Beetlejuice.
Okay. Juice, juice, juice.
Take it.
It's gonna be one of those rounds.
And you are, as previously stated, a professional reenactor, correct?
That is correct.
Excellent. In that case, I believe we're ready to begin.
Okay.
Please remain calm. Do not attempt to leave the room. This will all be over soon. 5 minutes starts now.
Now, Greg, you're in a landslide. Tell me how you're going to survive. Go.
Jump out of the way of the landslide.
No, you're already in it. It's already coming down on you.
Oh, fuck. Surf the landslide to the ground. Got you.
Tell me a little bit more about surfing on it. It's made of objects, not water.
Water's made of objects.
Give me an alternate solution there. No surfboard handy.
I didn't say I had a surfboard. I would body surf.
All right. Well, now your legs are halfway buried in the landslide.
Oh,
So
okay.
now-
Then I would swim.
Swim.
Yeah.
You find yourself in a pocket within the landslide, and you feel it giving way. So you've only got a few seconds to catch your breath, come up with a new strategy.
Oh, I'd hold my breath then.
All
You
right.
said it's about to collapse.
Sure. And
So I just.
strategies for. All right.
4 minutes remain.
How did you arrive at that solution? Surf, then swim, then hold your breath.
Well, I've never been in a landslide, so I assumed it would just be like a water
Similar
slide.
to a water slide.
Yeah.
All right, Greg. You wake up in a room with 4 seamless walls, an infinitely thick ceiling and floor. How do you escape that room?
Well, I mean, the easy answer here is I don't.
But if you had to.
Okay. Well, you made it pretty clear that it's impossible. Wait. Say it again, because sometimes there's a loophole in things like this.
All right, it's a room, 4 seamless walls, infinitely thick ceiling and floor. How do you escape?
Okay,
Tell me
so
your creative problem.
so yeah, you said infinitely thick ceiling. I go through the floor.
Infinitely thick ceiling and floor.
How do you know that infinitely thick
3
applies
minutes remain.
to both of them?
Just give me a ballpark. How do you think you would?
Fine, I go through the
attempt
walls.
to get out. All right, how do you do that? Punch the walls. All right. What if you didn't have any hands? Sure thing. Greg, you're in a kitchen. You're holding a small child.
Oh no. Hey!
This towel catches on fire.
Whoa! Hey, buddy! What are you doing?
Greg, you're in a kitchen. You're holding a child. There's a dish towel on fire. How do you put it out?
Oh, water. I'm in a kitchen. They throw it in the sink.
What do you think is the opposite of water, Greg?
A landslide?
2 minutes remain.
In the child kitchen fire solution, you arrived at water. In your coming to that decision, what's a solution that you considered but discarded?
My mouth. Honestly.
All right. What other things in a kitchen might you use to douse a fire?
Effectively, or just like.
If it was spur of the moment.
I mean, like things that would actually put out the fire, because my first thought was like bleach.
Bleach. All right.
I think that would work.
I'm not sure.
I don't know if bleach is flammable. Just smother it.
Smother it? All
Yeah,
right.
jump on it.
What about substances?
One
Rice.
Rice.
Mhm.
Okay. Wouldn't use the child.
No.
Okay.
Was that your clever trap? As I say child, and you're like, oh, got you.
I'm going to tell my department head that you are a robot. Nothing you can say or do in this line of questioning can convince me otherwise. What are you going to do about that?
30 seconds.
Please. Don't do that.
Mm-hmm. You're going to ask me kindly? That's your solution?
Yeah.
What solutions did you discard along the way to that one?
Running?
Bleeding's probably the better option there.
Yeah.
Tell me, how'd you arrive at that
10,
solution?
9,
Uh,
8,
well,
7, 6.
I realized I was
5,
already giving you puppy dog
4,
eyes, and I figured I'd just go with it.
2,
Sure.
1. Investigator, please make your final determination.
All right, Greg. If I do determine that you're a robot, and you are wheeled away in that chair to receive a spinal tap, creative problem solve. How do you get out of that situation?
I use the spinal tap on the person who's trying to spinal tap me.
Galaxy brain spine.
I think we've got what we need here.
Hey! What the fuck, man? Okay, so I may have been a robot. Yes. Any problem you solve, you must solve in 2 steps or less.
I'm so fucking glad you didn't get away with that. I was so mad. Carlin killed me and then you went around with that bullshit.
I was thinking that it was like, it seems like something recursive to me, like you always had to feed it back into itself somehow.
Oh man, then the spinal tap thing really fucked me, I guess. No, my thing was just like, oh fuck, how do I get out of that situation in like 1 step?
Well, that's cool.
Fuck.
What tree?
Thank you, Wes. You did us all a great favor.
That was fun. My strategy was, before I got any of my cards, just to be really fucking weird, you know?
Yeah. You want to have traits to fall back on when you
Yeah. Oh boy. Oh fuck me. All right.
It was 30 seconds in, and I just from the deep recesses of my brain came, oh, he's champing for a stampin'. The phrase.
So I think we got time for one more game. You guys want to play one more game? All right. Before we play that last game, everybody just go around and say where people could find you on them internets. If that's the thing you care about, being found.
I'm good for right
Okay.
now.
Cool.
Go ahead.
I already did. That's Carlin Darlin on Twitter with an underscore in between.
Waking Oni on all social media.
I'm Tom Dyke-tacular on Twitch and Twitter.
Athena Woe on all the things.
Everything. And I too am a ghost in the machine. Who's in? Who's playing?
I'll do one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll get in there too.
Nice.
All right.
Who will be what?
Do you have a preference?
I do not.
Great. I want to not be the investigator.
All right, here we go. Redemption.
Ah,
Maybe.
old suspicious Tom.
I do regret not doing one with Tom because we are identical.
I was thinking. I was like, wait. I kept waiting. It was like, at some point, this would be. There's some real good clone bits that could be happening here.
I forgot how much I wanted to see that.
Clone bits. Clone bits.
Well, we could always just do 2 and 3 and a million there. We could never stop playing.
Never stop games.
Never stop gaming.
Okay.
Door disappears to the roof.
There are 4 seamless walls, an infinite ceiling.
Now, Greg, as you can see,
Play
the
this
door
Is there a scenario we can write, Corey? Is there a scenario we can write around how much Tom and Wes look alike? Like, is there a... Since we've hit that stretch goal.
All right, I'm getting rid of interrupting the investigator.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm sorry for this one, but
All right. Okay.
it comes easy to me as a Minnesotan, so it's something that happens frequently.
that Midwest nice.
Yeah, you know, it's just something we deal with.
So,
What are these ones over here? These are the new print and plays, right?
Yep. So this is recognize your moral failings. That's the one Carnal and I did.
Mm-hmm.
And this is think of your body as part of yourself. So that's more like proprioception. It's not like your body image. It's like what is the experience of like having hands and using.
Yes, that one.
That's the one Wes and I did.
Oh, is there one that we haven't done?
No, I
Actually,
think we've covered everything.
I think
tonight.
as long as we've covered everything.
Yeah.
I don't want to like.
I like that.
Yeah.
Do it, bodies,
Yeah.
bodies.
All right,
Those are. Wait, where are the? They're there.
There.
Give it.
They are.
These the hands.
Yes.
These them hands.
Talk to the hands, because that's what I have. I'm a human.
Wow. What a normal thing to say.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Oh, there's stuff on the packet. I hadn't noticed that.
Hmm?
Like skull packet and dragon packet.
Mhm.
I didn't realize that.
Where's the-
Yeah, at an earlier time they were just ink blots, but over time the investigators named the packets colloquially and that we use those.
Yeah. I love the backstory.
All right. And what is the role you'd like
Oh.
to choose?
Well, it's not something that I chose.
It's not.
It's.
Just went
No, Tom, no!
I'm not gonna do it, but I need you to understand that I did get retired sports champion. Look, man. And I'm picking something that'll obviously be much better for everyone, which was I didn't choose to be a pop star. Being a pop star
Okay.
chose
Well,
to be me.
this is gonna be a real good time either way.
Shh. Pop star. I
Can
don't.
you, what's your number one hit?
Bring them to the human party where we're all at. It was a real big hit after the Robot Wars. People were really looking for human songs.
It's a very lengthy title.
Well, yeah, I mean, I trust my audience to be able to read and listen.
That's good of you.
Yeah,
That's generous.
Yeah.
All right. Well, okay. Can you state your name for me, please?
My name is Jonas.
Cute. Any relation to the Jonas Brothers?
Nope, not at all.
All right.
It's.
I'm putting
I
it
just they seemed really popular, so I thought I could be 3 times as popular, and
Oh.
so far it's worked.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you've heard my music before, right? All right. Well, cool. I've got
Can
a
you
ton of mixtapes
Okay,
for
can you
you.
perform something live for me?
Oh no, come on, I'm a pop star.
What about your number one hit that you told me about? The
Bring them all down to the human party. Well, where
We're all at?
eating.
Oh, that's a different title. Okay, so great. Let's start by just running a quick test.
Yeah.
Can you apologize to me for each Jonas in your name?
I'm sorry for the first Jonas, which represents me. I'm sorry for the second Jonas, which represents you. And I'm sorry for the third Jonas, which represents all of us here today.
Great. You did that.
Hey, just want to say hi to all my Jonases out there. We brought them with us. I thought,
Oh, well,
I don't know. No, we'll have time. We'll have time. Don't worry.
Oh my.
Yeah.
And so, Jonas. Can I call you Jonas Cubed for short?
I'd prefer if you just called me Jonas.
Oh, all right. That's
I mean,
even shorter.
you can do whatever you
All
want.
right.
I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. And you are a pop star.
Yes.
Great. So, I believe we can get started then.
Yeah.
Please remain calm. Do not attempt to leave the room.
Ooh, this is
This
great.
will all
Can I
be
sample
over
this?
soon.
Ooh, I'll have
5
to
minutes
see what the royalties
starts
are.
now.
Okay, yeah. I mean, that's fine.
We'll talk. We'll
Yeah,
talk.
cool.
Maybe.
I'll have
All
my
right.
writers talk to your robots.
What? Oh, yes.
I don't know, that
Or,
sounds-
if you're a robot, you can just communicate with them in your robot language.
Yeah, I mean, I could if I was a robot, but I'm a pop star. No one's ever said that pop stars are robotic or manufactured.
Okay. All right. So, as a non-robot, very human, I would love for you to describe to me. I know your music on the charts is on fire, but can
Mm-hmm.
you tell me what it's like, if you can imagine, what being on fire would feel like?
Ooh. Okay. Being on fire metaphorically feels cool. It's pretty awesome to be like hot online.
Yeah, but
to be like on
physically.
fire. I'm getting there. I'm just
Well,
kind of
we only have 5 minutes. We have a long line of
Okay,
potential
physically, I
robots.
think it would be not fun. I feel that I would be burned, and I feel that I would end up in a hospital, and that's not really. A hospital is where people go when they're sick, and I do not like being sick. I have to be touring a lot, so I've been like, where's your
4
system down?
minutes
But
remain.
like, I don't like that idea of getting sick or being sick.
Okay.
'Cause but that's different than being on fire.
Yeah. Okay. So you went into sick. Can you describe to me a time when I guess you've been sick before and how'd that feel?
Oh yes, that's it's when I was little, I lost my voice, and it was pretty trying. As a pop star, what you want to be doing is singing, and before you're a pop star, what you want to be doing is singing. And when you lose your voice, you can't be singing, and have just being unable to hear my own voice for an entire week really was a pain for me, and mostly really for my dad. He really had trouble with it. He just like napped the whole week away.
Wow. Okay. All right. Well, let's switch it up a little bit.
3 minutes remain.
Okay. So let's go back to maybe this is a childhood activity. What mistakes did you make when learning to ride a bike?
Oh, well, when learning to ride a bike, I think the biggest mistake was trying. Like,
Biggest mistake is trying.
yeah, like, how useful are bike? Is it like biking is something that old Americans used to do? I mean, in this day and age, what use do we have for a bike when we've got all of these scooters going around? Like, I always thought that scooting's the way of the future, but
Yeah. Okay, but let's go back to the trying part. Can you describe that feeling of trying and I guess like the steps you took and whatnot? And
Yeah.
how'd that feel
it's
mentally?
just
physically?
like trying. Yeah, I mean, it was just like I wasn't good at it right away, so I kept falling. And when I fall, I would hurt myself, and then I would, get scrapes and bruises. And scrapes and bruises aren't what I want. Like,
Where
you get
would
scrapes
you
and
get
bruises,
scrapes
that's
and
how you end up
bruises?
getting, infected. You can get the flu, you can get all these different things. Like, it's not what you want to
I'm
be
gonna
having.
repeat the question. Where would you get scrapes and bruises?
Oh, I mean, probably on my elbows, maybe my knees.
Okay.
When I did it, I got it actually on my ear, which I wasn't wearing a helmet because that's.
That's the first mistake. That's the mistake you made.
Oh yeah, I guess that is. That's pretty good. Yeah, I guess that's where that ear infection came from.
Okay, great. All right. Okay, let's move on.
Yeah, let's move on.
Oh man.
Oh. So I was a violent robot who I had to cough or sneeze early on in the round. It was very subtle.
Wow. When we were talking about you were sick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then I had to mention a different illness in response to 3 questions, which turned out to be a lot harder than I thought. And so then I was just like, I'm just gonna fucking bring these up, and it felt very weird. I did not feel comfortable at any point doing that.
Wow.
I feel like every time you did it, you were like, huh,
Yeah.
okay.
Anyway, yeah, very early on I was like, oh, I need to bring up the idea of getting sick so that it makes sense. And then I was like, oh shit, I have made sickness an obsession very early.
That's what noted it off for me.
I was just like, oh, in my head I'm like, oh fuck
It's like
me.
you weren't talking about body parts. We're supposed to be talking about body parts. We were talking about like internal.
Internal sicknesses.
There were like specific events that exonerated you though too. Like you would skip over a question describing something, and the suspicious part was that the question was skipped, and we kind of lost focus.
I
Over that
think
you were
that's-
describing the
Yeah.
sickness, and we lose that thread.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Yeah.
Mm.
Every time you were like, okay, I thought you were gonna reach for the stamp.
I was like, I didn't want him to kill another innocent human. So I was gonna like see him. I
Oh
was
yeah,
like,
now
no.
you're gunshot.
That's it. Yeah.
This is what happened to Tommy.
But then you were like doing things multiple times, like, oh no, how close is he to killing me?
Mm-hmm.
There
Well
was a
done.
point-
Close.
Well
There was a
done.
point where
Yeah.
you like reached for the card, now she's going for the stamp, and you like changed the card, and I was like, no!
Ooh. God,
Well,
I love this.
Do we
That was great.
do we want to get a ditto round in there of
With these two.
Tom versus Wes?
Yeah.
Ditto.
Around.
Let's do it.
All right, I guess all of
You
you the
got-
investigator.
You gotta be the investigator.
This one's hard because you actually have to think critically.
That's your first mistake.
And we are also the same color as the hat.
It's too good. It's too
Well, all right.
You'd be wearing that hat by the end of this.
Let's take a note of that. All right. So let's get 3 of these in here. Before we get started, Wes, I just want to compliment you on your great fashion sense. And like hair, facial construction, and grooming.
Thank you very
just
much.
Great. Really, I think you've done a top-notch job.
Well, I actually originated this look, so I'd like to compliment you on your flagrant copycatting.
Yeah, you know, it's my sincerest form of flattery.
I mean it. It means a lot.
I don't want you to fail to complete a sentence because you did that one. So you can do either of these.
Both mispronounce it.
All right. Okay, we got Jonas cubed over here. Safe.
One of these next or one of these next?
Yeah. What do you want? What do you want to talk about today, Wes?
I think I would like to apply creative problem solving.
Apply creative problem solving. So then you will take 3 of the green cards, and I eliminate 2 of these of my 6. Cool. Does it matter which one they are?
One of each.
Okay. All right.
Mr. Timothy?
Yes?
Got it.
Oh, sorry. The other Mr. Timothy.
Oh, interesting. Awesome. And so we know that your penalty is to mispronounce a word. And what does it say in your card?
The old Hitler says what?
Got it. Not even close. What is that? You're on. Oh, lit life support.
That's right.
Don't lean too far back.
The life is actually a great back support that you're on. All right, so
Maybe it looks that way.
thank you for coming in today, Wes. You and does your life support robot have a name? Seems that it's not important. Great. Now, you said I've been assuming, but your name is Wes, correct? Or did I miss?
Sure. Stacy West.
Stacy Wes. All right, and Stacy Wes.
As fast as you can, please. I'm not long for this world.
Okay. Well, I mean, if you die in our office, it's kind of like a win for me anyway. So I think I'm gonna go at my pace. We're working with the creative problem solving, the CPS. Now, just to calibrate our machine quickly, not yours, but our machine, I'm going to need you to mispronounce a word. Can you tell me what this is?
That's a pep.
All right. And this right here?
That's a stapmer.
Yep. And what
Wasn't
is...
even close.
and what's that behind you?
That's a law.
A law, yep. All right, cool. So I think we are ready to get started. Can we start that timer right there?
Start that.
Please remain calm. Do not attempt to leave the room. This will all be over soon.
Not your
5
life.
minutes
This,
starts
your life will be
now.
very long, don't worry. You're on support.
That's not what I've been told.
Yeah, well, I mean, who told you that, a doctor?
Mm-hmm. So
Oh,
roll.
okay. Yeah, why don't you, what's the whole reason for this life support you've got going on, Mr. Stacy West?
I was in a debilitating plane accident.
Okay.
I was the only survivor, but my blood has to be replaced every 15 minutes.
Okay. Replaced, is it cycled, or are you constantly taking blood from others?
It's cycled. It's a false blood, processed, manufactured blood.
Ah, yes, I remember that. The greatest project to
Synthetic. I'm sorry, is the word I was looking for.
Cool. Great. Well, I'm glad that you and your synthetic blood are here with us. So, your life has been interesting, I would assume. considering the fact that you were in a plane crash. Do you want to tell me a little bit more about how that plane crash went down?
It's really one of maybe the only interesting thing that's ever happened to me. But
Great. Well, then I picked a good thing for us to focus on.
Sure. So I was in the cabin as a passenger on the plane, and we got a message from the captain over the radio that said, "Ladies and gentlemen, the airplane is going down." And so at that point, I checked and made sure my seatbelt was fastened, and it was.
All right, I think I would figure out how this would go from there. I can put the pieces together. Now let's think about maybe how you could have solved this. Let's say you're the captain. Solve the problem of the plane crashing.
All right.
If you were the pilot, how do you think you would have stopped the plane from crashing and injuring so many people?
If I were the pilot, I would have started by paying more attention in pilot school.
Okay, well, great.
I suppose I would have come to work healthy,
3 minutes
happy,
remain.
ready to work alertly.
So let's say the plane is already starting to crash. We've had an engine failure. I'm assuming that was the cause. If it wasn't, we're going to go with that. The engines have failed.
Sure.
You're going down. How are you going
on our way down?
Yeah, you're coasting down, but you've got a little time to think. How would you solve that problem?
All right. Well, I would lean into the dive. I think you're told is what you're supposed to do.
Okay.
And then use that momentum to throttle myself backwards into a rising pattern, and then I would try to level out the plane and get it to coast down into the ground.
Okay. So let's say, what if we did that, but you only are able to do it with your feet?
I would go through a very similar process. I think that I would kick off my shoes.
What kind of shoes?
My loafers.
Oh, nice. Good choice.
2 minutes remain.
Trickier to kick off, but I would do that.
Kind of a relaxing pilot, though. Seems kind of fun.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I think you'd make a good pilot in another life.
I'll never go on a plane again, you can imagine.
Why would you never go on a plane again?
I've had bad experiences.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Let's forget the plane. What if it was a boat?
If I had been injured in a boat accident?
And the boat was sinking. How would you stop a boat from sinking? You can use anything you want.
I would attempt to locate the source of the leak, clog the source of that leak, and set
What would
about
you use
finding
to
a
clog it?
permanent solution. I suppose whatever was large enough. If it was, I'm assuming a large leak big enough to sink a boat. Depending on
Small
size,
leaks can sink boats.
in that case, maybe a bucket or
1 minute.
it's available on boats. Maybe try to wedge the anchor in there, or the anchor against some.
You
sort
could.
of
You think
sheer
you could
tarp
carry
or
an
saran
anchor?
wrap.
You believe that strongly? You think that highly of yourself that you could just plug a hole with an anchor?
I was under the impression this was me pre-injury.
Were you very strong pre-injury?
I was average strong.
I mean, average strong can't lift an anchor on a boat.
We might be thinking of different sizes of boats.
True. What size boat are you
30
thinking
seconds.
A fishing boat.
of? How big a fishing boat?
I think like a float boat, lake type fishing boat, family of 4.
Oh, okay. Cool. What kind of lakes do you like to fish in?
Minocqua?
Oh, I love Lake Minocqua.
Really?
Yeah, my family,
The
we used to go up
flowage,
there.
oh,
Yeah, all the time.
absolutely.
We used to go up there for the crappie fishing.
Oh yeah, we
Yeah.
used to fish. Rat was my grandpa's favorite.
6.
Rat?
Yeah,
5.
Yeah, that was a real good
4,
lake. What did you guys catch big stuff up there?
2.
Mostly sea bass.
1.
Or sorry,
Investigator, please
largemouth
make your
bass.
final determination.
All right. What's the largest fish you ever caught, buddy?
It was a big largemouth bass.
But like, how big was it?
It wasn't as big as some of the ones I'd seen. Probably 1.5 feet.
Cool. Well, I think this went about exactly the way we thought. Two mediocre white guys sitting here in the same shirt would go. About as entertaining as everyone expected, and we were all just human and having a great time. So thanks for coming in. We'll have to go fishing in the future.
Absolutely, we will.
Yeah, I'll give you a call. I got your contact info right here.
That's your contact information.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
He's got your contact information.
What's the rule?
It's any solution you describe must take 3 or more steps, right?
Oh fuck!
You
Now
fell for the
I.
bit. You fell for the bit. It's a classic investigator mistake. You let him get you off path with a bit about fishing, Tom.
Well, I mean, by the
You
time
did a long joke.
by the time we got to fishing, I was just like, I decided he was human so early on.
You
because I was
kept
just like,
interrupting him in the middle of his long explanations, is what happened. He would just start, like, he was like, oh, well, I think the first thing I would do is pay attention in pilot school, and then I'd come to work ready to be happy and healthy. And be like, okay, the plane's already
because
going
like
down.
I was just like, fuck, I don't have time for. I was like hyper conscious of time early on, and then I was like, well, nothing.
I had to keep like stopping myself, like I'm counting these off, I'm making it obvious.
Oh, that was good.
Oh, well done. God damn it. All right.
One more time. Where do we get this game?
Oh, we got this game on robots.management, which takes you to Kickstarter, where we have the game.
Thanks, everybody.
All right, good night, everybody. Thanks for watching us.
Bye.